Donald Trump has surrendered in Atlanta. Any minute now, we're going to be getting his mugshot, so we'll see. Everything good? We're good?
Yeah.
We got history in the making, my friends, and we got a lot to talk about. So we will probably be posting this mugshot as soon as it comes in. A lot of people are sharing a fake one, but we got the real one. We also have an individual who was indicted alongside Trump, denied bail. So there are questions about what's going to happen with Trump, but we think he'll probably just leave. It's going to be fairly routine, but still historical. And I have a question as we kick this one off. We've got a lot to talk about. Elon Musk is being sued by the government because he only hires Americans. Yeah, he discriminates against asylum seekers and refugees. That's amazing. We've got a follow-up on the debate. We've got stories about the Trump-Tucker interview. Everyone's clamoring over the view count. We'll get into all that. But I'll just ask you one thing to stew on before we get started. If Donald Trump is convicted in Georgia or any jurisdiction, let's say Georgia because it's a state charge, and they demand jail time or even house arrest, ankle bracelet, something, right? If Trump is convicted on all of these felonies, certainly they're going to have to take him into custody in some capacity. What happens if likely the charges are going to be over 1 year long? What happens if the charges extend beyond the election, but Donald Trump wins and becomes the president? Now, a sitting, duly elected president is incarcerated at the state level. Does Trump tell the feds, no, I'm walking out of here today, federal supremacy clause, or does Trump just stay in jail? And what happens if Trump orders the feds to shut down that jail and walk him out, even though he's been convicted in that state? Something to think about as we get into all of this. Before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com, buy our coffee. Support the show by buying our coffee directly. I got to be honest, Appalachian Nights is my favorite coffee ever. I think it's the best I've ever had. It's my favorite. But I also really like Rise with Roberto Jr., our light roast breakfast blend. We got whole bean, we got ground, we've got coffee pods. The K-Cups, you can put them in your little machine, press the button, make yourself a cup of coffee. Go to castbrew.com if you want to support the show. There are products. Everything you buy helps us. I'm really excited. We're currently working on Alex Stein's Primetime Grind, 2 times caffeine. We're going to be launching that. I'm really excited for the partnerships we've got coming. Also, head over to timcast.com, become a member, click join us. We're going to have a members only uncensored show coming up soon, but also heads up right now. The Timcast IRL Miami event tickets are live. And it's only for members for the first half an hour. So if you are not a member, you either have to wait or become a member. And we gave advance notice to our members a little while ago so that y'all can buy the tickets now. Those that have been a member for a long time, we want you to get first priority in buying your tickets. The event is going to be amazing. We got me, Tim Pool, Patrick Bet-David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Friday, October 6th. It's going to be at 5:30, doors open, and we got a lot's going to be going on. We're really excited, and we're really excited that I believe I want to make sure we're being very careful, but Public Square is going to be sponsoring the event. We're huge fans. We love Public Square. One of the most powerful victories in the culture war. Everything they're doing is fantastic. Public Square, for those that aren't familiar, it's an app. You download it. It shows you businesses that share your values for boycotting. So you can ignore all these awful companies, these brands that hate your values, hate families, and you go to Public Square, you download the app, and you can see on a map all the businesses in your area that believe in America. I love Public Square. We're really grateful. It's an honor to have them sponsoring us. You guys should download their app. And we're going to get into the news. Before we get started, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends. And joining us today to talk about this and so much more is Eric Hunley.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me, man.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm co-host of the show America's Untold Stories, where we cover things like JFK assassination, RFK Jr., or RFK Sr. technically, Alec Baldwin, which got me in trouble with the New Mexico state prosecutor.
Oh, wow.
And many other sort of things. And I have another channel that's my name, where I interview folks like John McAfee when he was on the run, Carol Baskin of Tiger King, and other people like that.
Right on. Well, this should be fun. Thanks for joining us. It's a historic day. So it should get interesting. Yeah. We got Hannah Claire hanging out.
Hi, I'm Hannah Claire Brimlow. I'm a writer for Timcast.com. You should get all of your news from Timcast.com exclusively, in my opinion. Phil's here too.
Hi, I'm Phil Labonte. I'm not Ian Crossland. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains, and I am an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, my friend Serge.
Serge.com, checking in. Let's get started. It's quite a day.
Let's just go into it. We have this tweet from Disclosed TV. Trump arrives at the Fulton County Jail.
Right
This
now,
is the
this
video.
is the entrance of the jail. And he's going to essentially have his height taken, his weight taken. They'll write down his hair and eye color. Then what they'll do is they'll electronically fingerprint him with it's like sort of a piece of glass scanner, not ink. Then his mugshot will be taken, and we will get that because under the Open Records Act, it's public record in Georgia.
So that's the latest. We also have this, Trump's booking details for the Fulton County Jail. It's kind of hard to see. Let's see if we can make this image a little bit bigger. And it's just everything we already know. We've got violation of RICO, solicitation of violation of oath of public officer, and there's the bond. Trump has apparently already posted bond. So here's what they say. They say he's a white male, 6'3" and 215 pounds. Eric just gave me this look. So I take it you don't agree.
He's
that
an
Trump,
orange male.
I'd say he's built like me. And I'm not 215. I wish.
215 pounds is trending on Twitter right now. Nobody's buying it.
Yeah, but they weighed him.
I mean,
But it came out early, right?
I don't never trust the
It
government,
seemed like
man.
this got released.
Never trust any government organization. Never trust them. They're lying.
I guess they just asked him, like, how much do you weigh? I mean, is this all just a sham? What's really going on? I got to say, history is happening right before our very eyes. Trump is headed to be processed. He's going to join the mugshots of everyone else. And man, my thoughts on this as we await the mugshot, which we'll post as soon as it pops up. I'm staring at it right here. I mentioned this in the beginning of the show in the intro, but we'll say it here for this particular segment. And I'm curious what y'all think. So comment, super chat, whatever. We talk about the potentials for civil war. Tucker Carlson got roasted for asking Trump about civil war. Trump said he didn't know, but the passions are really intense and the hatred's really intense. I don't know. I know that Stephen Marsh, we cite him a lot because he wrote a book about this. We disagree on a lot of things, but we agree on a lot of core elements. And so that's why I found it particularly fascinating. I think he's seeing similar things to what we're seeing. And he says civil strife, not civil war. That people are being killed for political reasons, tensions are escalating, but it's the period pre-Civil War. So I give you this scenario. And I want you to tell me what you think happens because I don't know. Trump is convicted in Georgia, state charges relating to the election. He's sentenced to 16 months, but the sentence comes down in, let's say, July. They want to do the trial in March. Let's say that happens. We've got more reporting that at least one defendant's trial will be October 23rd. But let's say Trump is October 23rd. Let's say the trial concludes beginning of January. He gets convicted, sentenced to 16 months. Let's say in any capacity, he's taken into custody, whatever that may be, minimum security, ankle bracelet, can't leave your house. Who knows? If he's convicted in Georgia, they're not letting him leave the state. Trump campaigns online. Trump wins. Trump is president. Trump is incarcerated. Then what? I do not believe there's a scenario in this circumstance where Trump does not walk out of jail or walk out of his house or wherever they're holding him.
Of course.
Already we heard Dan Bongino say that the Secret Service has this federal supremacy clause, multiple, that give them, they can make anything a federally protected zone. So I'd have to imagine, first, you have to assume Trump will not be convicted. You have to assume that if convicted, Trump will not be jailed. If those criteria are met, then you have to assume Trump won't get elected. There are a lot of hurdles here. But I think Trump has a path to victory. And if he's arrested, this indictment, people are saying is going to help him out. If Trump wins and is convicted at the same time, tell me how we do not get, at the very least, federal versus state armed conflict.
I think really quickly, just one consideration. Isn't Brian Kemp a Republican?
Yeah, but
We think.
Hold
yeah,
on.
right.
Doesn't Trump immediately become the head of the Republican Party as president? And essentially, Kemp can be ordered, commute the damn sentence. Problem over.
I don't think Kemp can commute. It has to go to a panel. The panel has to agree. So, and Kemp doesn't like Trump.
He might not, but then the both houses are pro-Trump, and they're going after Fannie Willis.
I think that-
there's enough people to push it through, whether Kemp likes it or not.
I think that the governors have that kind of like autonomy, don't they?
For pardons?
Well, I mean,
My understanding is Georgia, it's a panel that has the authority on this. Like, so my understanding is that Kemp would have to go to a panel and submit to them. There's other states. I think Florida does this too. I could be wrong.
It varies by state.
Right. It's not just, absolute authority of the governor to pardon. Some states are, some states aren't. Some states, the governor, like in the past, was like, we're going to have a panel decide to avoid corruption. It makes sense. You don't want a governor to be like, he's my friend, you're free to go. So you have a panel convened to make sure it's on the level. But a lot of criteria would need to, right, there's a lot more than just Trump wins the election. You also have to have Trump is convicted, jailed, wins the election, and then the state rejects his attempt to leave because he's been convicted. But then what? Trump goes to the Secret Service and says, I want you to open the doors, let me out. And they're going to be like, yes. And they're going to open the doors. And Georgia, what are they going to do? Again, there's a bunch of different possibilities. And I'm saying, I don't know how this would play out, but this is the path they expect us to be on. Trump is the front runner. They're hoping he doesn't win. They're also trying to put him in jail, in prison, not just jail, prison.
Of course.
If these two things collide, you're going to have the worst case scenario, federal agents in front of a state jail with state troopers armed saying, back off. We're not letting you take a prisoner out. And the feds being like, Trump is free to go. He's the president.
Well, the U.S. Army and the National Guard and pretty much everything else, because they are, I think there are laws that they cannot intrude with his ability to perform his job. So how is he going to meet with world leaders in prison? Are they going to roll them in? Hey,
how do you inaugurate him? Do we have to have the inauguration
Good
in
point.
jail in Georgia? I mean, I think this entire thing was written by the screenwriters of the show Scandal, which starred Kerry Washington. That was just a political drama, right? It's so crazy to think that this is the extent that they are willing to go to, where it won't even make sense. How do we proceed forward, right? It kind of, to me, shows what a mockery all of this is. There are 3 other places that Trump has been indicted. What are they going to do after this? Like, it seems ludicrous, and yet this is what the Democrats think they have to do to retain control of the country.
I don't know that I think that it's motivated by the Democrats actually worrying about Trump beating him. I don't think that their motivation is, oh, he might win again. I really do think their motivation is we need to frighten people that might push back against the bureaucracy. I really think that the motivation is if Americans believe that they can elect someone that actually will be able to affect the bureaucracy, that's bad for us. So we want to deter that as much as possible. Whether that means throwing January 6th people into jail, shooting 75-year-old men from Utah, or throwing their political rivals in jail.
How about both?
Well, I mean, obviously all of them. But that's my point. I really don't think that it's. I think there's less fear of him getting elected and more a show of force. There's in the past 10 or 15 years, there have been a lot of things that have pushed back against the federal government's power. Like the Bundy standoff was a significant pushback against the federal government's power. And they lost that. Granted, they killed one or two of them afterwards, but the actual first standoff, they lost that. And that's, they haven't lost a standoff since, or I can't think of the last time they lost. They lost it.
Yeah,
no,
Ruby
they won Ruby Ridge.
Sort of. I mean,
they killed enough people.
They killed the people, but it killed their reputation. That caused irreparable harm to the FBI. Led into Waco, sadly, led into Timothy McVeigh, and I would say led into the feds calming down for a while. I mean, history repeats itself.
Yeah, they ain't calm
We're
down.
in 1968 again, right now. Even with an RFK Jr.
There was a lot more bombings in the
that's
60s
true. Well,
and 70s.
70s, absolutely.
But the tools were different then. We have
fair
other
enough.
things
Yeah, that's
now.
true too. That's true. That is true.
And the internet plays a substantial, a large role in what's happening too. Psychological manipulation, sock puppets, etc.
Yeah.
That's so. I was thinking about this too with Elon getting rid of the block feature, and I kind of think he didn't explain it well enough. But I did realize something: non-verified accounts are deranked, so you have less to worry about with spam accounts and things like that because they're not going to appear high in your timeline anyway. So that is a net positive. I would add. A component of it, why I bring that up is it means that a lot of these fake accounts, these sock puppets that are just intending to manipulate people for political causes are going to be less impactful based on the moves that Elon is making on X.
That's true. My only worry about the blocking, if we get into that bit, is there's the issue of people who follow your account for the sole purpose of interacting with people you do follow or people who interact with you. So like you post him and somebody is a motivated actor and everybody who responds to you or likes it, they hit it and then they hit that account. Didn't you know that Tim Pool did this? Didn't you know he did this? Because we actually have stalkers who do that.
No,
and it's
I
like
agree.
blocking's very handy to say, look, you can do what you want. You can say what you want, but you're not going to use me to harass my friends.
I don't like the idea of getting rid of the block button, but at the same time, I don't know what he's actually doing to it, right? Like, because there's going to be other they've talked about there's going to be other functions. Like Linda was saying, there's going to be other functions they're going to be rolling out. So I assume it won't be the same kind of block button, but I also assume that they're going to address the things that people have concerns with, because he doesn't want people being like, oh yeah, I would go and use X, but all I get is inundated with hate or whatever. He doesn't want people leaving. So whatever the thing he decides to do, it's not going to be something that most users don't like, because, well, I don't imagine that it's going to be something that most users don't like, because they're very responsive to the users. So we'll see. And I just don't, I'm not going to go ahead and try to guess what it's going to be like after they actually get rid of it. You know?
Yeah, I tend to think getting rid of the block button is bad because you want the users to be able to control their profiles as much as possible. If someone is getting blocked like crazy, surely the back end of Twitter can look into that if they want to. Part of it is because I don't trust the Twitter CEO. And so I feel like she has already made it clear that she is going to have her own strategy for allowing some people's content to reach other users and for others to stay sort of held back. And so the block feature, taking it away right after that kind of information, makes it feel like they are really trying to take the power out of the user's hands.
I think Trump is out already.
Nope.
They're already leaving. So now we're just... I think now we're just waiting for the mugshot to drop. But Jason Miller says that Donald Trump will be speaking momentarily. So we have this up and we're just waiting to see what happens in the meantime. I guess we'll just...
I hope he speaks from the prison doors. That'd be great.
I think they're at the
Just
airport already.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
Jason Miller posted a photo in front of Trump Force One. And he says that Trump will be speaking momentarily. So really interested to see what Trump has to say. And I think Jason Miller's already posted photos going into and out of. So I think Trump's out already. I think he's out.
I'm sure. I mean, Secret Service would not be playing. They'd be like, get this done now. Move.
It's heavily
Get out of my way.
choreographed on that.
Yeah, I can't. Like time is a thing for them as well. I imagine you're right.
I think Bongino was right, and Trump should not have posted.
No, I agree.
He should have just been like, do it. Because then they would have been like, "Oh, what do you do?"
Yeah, my showmate Mark Robert brings a good point too. Why are all these Republicans running to Georgia to surrender like lemmings? Why aren't they saying, "Screw you, come get me"?
Well, this is what I was saying. Trump should go to Mar-a-Lago. He should say, "I've heard the reports on the television. They can serve me with whatever legal papers they want, and when they do, I'll respond." This would serve two purposes. One, he's not going to surrender. Two, it would put Ron DeSantis in a decision dilemma. DeSantis either has to protect or abandon Trump in that regard. Is he going to allow the extradition of Trump from Mar-a-Lago? Instead, Trump just says, okay, we'll go. I think Trump's thought about it, but I wonder sometimes, because I don't think he's as strategic as a lot of people think he is.
He's impulsive, it seems.
Right. And I think he's probably just like, okay, we'll go do it. I think there's like little resistance there. There's little conflict. It's just like, we'll go do it. But I wonder if they're thinking, if they just go through with this and keep putting the pressure on the Democrats to take these actions, they come out looking like the victims, like they're being attacked. It's political martyrdom. Mm-hmm. If that was the case, though, Trump should not have posted bond. He should have said, no, you arrest me if you think I did something wrong.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I think a lot of people get advised to surrender so that they look compliant, right? Like if you're being accused of being a criminal enterprise that's like trying to overthrow the government, then you want to look like, no, we respect the government and what they ask us to do. But I think there are probably kind of bolder steps that could have been taken. I am kind of amused by how much of a joke this already appears. Like, I think Chris Bertman had a tweet that was like, this Brady Bunch reunion looks crazy, and it's all of the mugshots that have come out. Like, being able to see this like wave of people that you're familiar with in these mugshots does have sort of a ludicrous effect.
People sharing it.
America's mayor, for God's sake.
Yeah.
From 9/11 to in a tie and a mugshot, it's
like Jason Miller just posted a photo of Trump boarding Air Force One at Signature Flight Support, a private airline terminal. It's the private terminal. And there are photos going around. They are fake mugshots. And now there are other photos going around that people are claiming are real. Phil just showed me one. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's a real mugshot. You don't think so?
Nope, I don't think so.
Let's pull it over. Let's pull it over.
The newsroom is waiting to post an article about this with its mugshot, so I'm hoping that they'll let me know.
No, all
when
the
it's
other
up.
ones had a badge around
But
them.
this looks
That
like
actually looks closer lighting wise though.
a
To
better
the
fake.
And it's no, but this is a photo of a photo. This is,
Right.
So
Yeah.
they may
You
have
see
taken the
the front.
mugshot and then someone snapped a pic on their phone.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I
Yeah.
can't see him doing that as the mugshot, though.
Well, it could be someone inside that just snuck a quick snap
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sent it out to their friends.
That
And
could
now
be.
it's going
Do
out.
Do you think he's going to smile or do you think he's going to look serious?
He looks serious.
I think stoic, but not scowling. I don't know.
Definitely
That
not
scowling. That doesn't feel like Trump.
There was a
Wrong
couple people that smiled in the mugshots, and I read some headlines today. I was like, why are they doing this? This is not a joke. It's kind
Yeah,
of a joke.
other people are saying it's
Absolutely a
fake.
joke.
People are saying that it's another fake mugshot. So we'll just I'll keep the Twitter feed ready for when that drops, and as soon as Trump starts speaking, we'll grab his speech. In the time being, though, we got another story, and this is where it gets crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Director of Black Voices for Trump is held in jail without bond. Harrison Floyd becomes the first MAGA ally to be booked behind bars in the Georgia election fraud case. No bond. They're starting light. I think they're not locking everybody up because they're slow rolling it. They know they can't shock the system. But this story's crazy. Look at this. He says, apparently FBI went to his house to serve him, and he said, "Who the F do you think you are?" Floyd allegedly screamed. The affidavit says, describing that Floyd was standing chest to chest with the agent after knocking him backward with his body. In Georgia, Floyd is accused, alongside Stephen Cliffgard Lee, a police chaplain, and Trevian Cootie, Kanye West's former publicist, of pressuring poll worker Ruby Freeman into falsely saying she committed election fraud. Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss, who gave tearful testimony to the House Select Committee on January 6th, were subjects of a conspiracy theory echoed by Trump and his allies. This is the crazy thing. Did these people genuinely believe she committed fraud? And they were going to her being like, what did you do? We saw videos. Is that a criminal act? And now I don't trust the government. Apparently they're saying that he assaulted an FBI agent. He was charged with attacking an FBI agent. Well, I strongly recommend you don't do that. Who was working with special counsel Jack Smith's parallel probe in 2020, election interference by Trump and his allies. The Washington Post reported Wednesday. An affidavit says Floyd body slammed an agent who arrived at his Rockville, Maryland home to subpoena him before a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. So my question is, what is he being charged with in Georgia, right? Held without bond in Georgia. He was charged with racketeering, conspiracy to solicit false statements, and influencing witnesses. So the FBI thinks a totally different case. He's being charged very similar to many of these other defendants, and they're not letting him out. Things are getting crazy, ladies and gentlemen. The Krasensteins, you got to love them. They have no limit. They will feign reasonableness. And then they're like, I agree with the charges against Trump's lawyers for the simple fact they provided him legal counsel. And it's just like, I'm like, dude, you guys have to have a limit, right? Like, they're going to start rounding people up onto trains, and the Krasensteins are going to be like, well, now hold on. We don't know exactly why they're rounding people up. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Dude, they are Jenna Ellis is being criminally charged under RICO for simply being Trump's lawyer. That's it. She didn't do anything else. That's it. Part of a conspiracy. Insane.
Think about it. It works, though, because now everybody's going to be afraid to represent Trump or any Republican figure or anybody else. So it's effective.
Which goes back to my point that I was making before. I really think this is about intimidation. I said this, a couple nights ago too. The establishment, when I say the establishment, I mean the bureaucracy that's in DC and likely the Democrat Party and their allies in the media. They don't want people to defend Trump. They want people to be afraid to associate with Trump.
The Trump statement is up. Let's play the video. It's only 1 minute long. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. They did very well to have him just walk up slowly.
Being here, I really believe this is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you could have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have 3 other instances. It's election interference.
Yeah.
I agree. And my question is this. If the Democrats are campaigning, as Trump said, off of this, and they are, this Fulton DA launched a fundraiser, then Republicans will have no choice but to campaign on the exact same issue in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Democrats are saying, vote for us and we will imprison anyone you hate, and the Trump supporters are saying, we will get revenge and go after those who are weaponizing the legal system, where does this end?
It doesn't. It's like South Korea from what I understand. The last several leaders have all been in prison. So it's like as soon as the next party gets in, the last party guy gets locked up.
Yeah.
And it
Sounds like Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
So-
I don't think it ends with just getting locked up. The Democrats are saying, we will crush you.
Yeah.
The Republicans mostly sitting on their hands. But if a tit for tat does arise, if Trump gets reelected, the revenge will not just be on the deep state for everything they did during his first term. It's going to be on everyone right now for everything they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like Kemp's going to have a really hard time when Trump gets elected.
He'll be
gonna
federally indicted.
How could he not be?
If Trump gets, here's my prediction. If Trump gets reelected, election fraud charges across the board and tons of governors face, maybe not tons, maybe a handful. We're probably going to see a bunch of Democrat officials. I imagine they'll be charged. If Trump wins, I cannot imagine a man so obsessed with 2020 does not remain obsessed with 2020. And then, as we've already seen, you can indict a ham sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
So the people who are like, there's no evidence Trump wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, that's not an issue. If Trump gets in and he gets an AG that is totally on board, you're going to see whatever they need pop up and there will be charges.
And I have to assume that this makes Trump even more appealing to people who are genuinely critical of the criminal justice system, right? Like people who feel like it's corrupted already for non-political reasons are looking at what's happening to Trump and saying, oh yeah, so he's experiencing it too. None of us are safe. He is, in some ways, becoming more of a candidate for people I would assume would typically vote for the Democratic Party because they're always saying, we'll fix this and Republicans
Working
are trying to
class.
lock you up. Yeah, exactly.
I do not share your optimism about new Trump voters. But that being said, one of the things that I noticed that I really liked that he said, I believed it was a rigged election. And it was that kind of verbiage, articulating it properly, really, 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 really matters because they are going to have to try to convince the jury that he believed that he lost. Correct. And that he believed that it was a fair loss and he knew he was violating the law. They have to prove to a jury that what he believed. They have to prove what was in his head. And the only person that can screw that up is Donald Trump.
Yeah, you know his lawyers were like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, thank goodness he said it the right way.
Yeah,
There's no ad lib here.
Because he's already got it's already loaded against him. He's got a bunch of things stacked against him when it comes to people prosecuting him and stuff. And if he's not minding his P's and Q's, he can put himself into a significant problem.
Well, I hope that when Trump wins re-election, assuming he does, as he begins instructing the AG to go after people, we get a really cool montage with like Staying Alive by the Bee Gees and having sunglasses, putting them on. And then there's like a montage of like indicted. Trump should have indicted people in his first term. Trump should have launched investigations. When they were investigating him for Russiagate, he should have immediately said, we are going to investigate the lies. Trump should have countered immediately. And I'm not ragging on him for not knowing the future. I'm saying hindsight is 2020. Trump could have said, my fellow Americans, currently, there are political partisans that are accusing the highest office in this country of being subservient to Vladimir Putin and the Russians. This is sedition. This is a lie. The American people have spoken. So we will be bolstering the investigation into these claims, but making sure it is holistic and covers all ground. And we figure out who is pushing the narrative and why. He could have said, yeah, I'm on board. Here's my guy joining in, and then gone after Democrats for the Steele dossier, for instance. Why did it take so long for us to figure out that Hillary Clinton was the one backing that stuff?
Well, he needed people to tell him to do that because keep in mind, he was not a politician.
If Tucker Carlson had just said it one time, Tucker, then Trump would have been like, I was watching Tucker. He says I should investigate. I'll do it. and then he would have done it. And we wouldn't be here right now.
Come on, Tucker. What are you doing? No, I mean, I think there are a lot of things that I wish Trump had done while he was in office, and obviously we can't go back. My concern would be that he doesn't do something going forward. So if he's reelected, I would like to see some kind of action. I mean, you were saying before the show that Jim Jordan's investigation on Fani Willis, you felt like maybe he should have called it earlier.
Oh, yeah. Hello. What time is it? I mean, how long ago was he charged? Is Congress that slow? You can't put it together. You can't say, hey, you know what, Fanny, how about you come up here Thursday? How about Thursday the 24th? Come on in front of Congress. That would have been beautiful. So while Trump is getting arrested, Fanny could be testifying in front of Congress and enjoying her day in another location.
Yeah.
Yep.
New thought.
Because I assume she's down there hanging out with all her friends being like, our work is accomplished. Good job, everybody.
And she should be sweating bullets, but they're doing nothing.
Right.
Well, I shouldn't say they're doing nothing. They are doing something. I think I have the story right here from Forbes. GOP-led House Judiciary Committee opens investigation into Fani Willis. So I don't know what else you can ask for. I think they should subpoena her and immediately call her, like you said. It looks like they're just, once again, being like, we are going to be opening an inquiry into whether we should inquire about Fani Willis. Right. The Republican-led House Judiciary Committee launched an investigation into Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis as former President Donald Trump surrenders himself to authorities after Willis's office indicted him. We get it. This is Jim Jordan sent a strongly worded letter to Willis Thursday asking her to turn over information to the committee, writing her indictment of Trump and his allies involves substantial federal interests. The letter claims Willis's indictment appears to be an attempt to use state criminal law to regulate the conduct of federal officials acting in their official capacities, and raises whether Willis was coordinating with federal prosecutors in the Justice Department regarding her investigation. They got Trump on federal charges. They're going to go after his lawyers. The question is, will the Supreme Court intervene under this argument that Trump was acting in his official duties as a member of the executive branch, and thus they're interfering with the federal government? Supreme Court, I imagine, is going to say, get out of here with this, right? They have to quash it, or what?
I don't know. It's a strongly worded letter, though, so I'm sure everybody's quivering.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. It cracks
I
me.
mean, panic ensues as soon as you
You
send a strongly worded
letter. I mean, I'm sure that she's laughing and probably passing around the office. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Check out the letter. He sent me a letter.
It's not even a subpoena. They're putting Bannon in jail for a subpoena.
Yeah.
And this is all they can muster up.
Exactly. So he's being arrested. She gets a letter. They don't quite equate, do they? I mean, it's frustrating. You were talking, I believe, earlier today about leftist tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Especially within the riot. And that was making me think of something because my friend Mark, show partner, he grew up in that ilk and he kind of switched parties over time. And he's like, you need to follow leftist tactics because they are effective.
Yep.
And he's like, why the hell don't Republicans do it? And I understand the conservative mindset. Well, it's not dignified. And that's the problem, is the conservatives are like, that's unseemly.
Meanwhile, Democrats
like
are taking dumps in the streets in San Francisco.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And Republicans are like, oh, well, I never. And then they're like, as the crackpots take a dump right in the middle of the street, they're like, we should arrest that guy. And then all of a sudden the cops show up at your house and you're like, how could you arrest me? I've done nothing. And that's Republicans for you. They should, honestly, I would like it if every single Republican was arrested. Just every single one of them. Just there you go. And it's just like, maybe now you'll do something.
Be harder for them to do something, I think. But I know what you mean. I think there is a lot of like, we shouldn't stoop to their level. We have the moral high ground. On the other hand, it's really hard to defend the moral high ground when you are actively losing
From
territory
jail.
on every other front. You are ceding power. So we have to have a reconciliation somewhere.
No, well, you've got to have ground to hold any high ground. I mean, there is no ground. If they're like, okay, cool. And then they just push them over. And, you brought that up very poignantly about the tactics, things of that sort.
I mean, the leftist tactics are advanced. Conservative, right-wing, libertarian, et cetera, just non-existent. The left does stuff like optics. They understand optics. So they'll get one of their quote-unquote journalists. A video will come out showing a cop beating some guy, and they'll be like, help, police brutality. And what the video won't show you is the guy punching the cop first, because the person filming it will edit that out specifically to create propaganda. And they refer to themselves in the activist community not as journalists, but as propagandists. then publicly they'll say they're a journalist to cover themselves. Because what was it Vosh who said? He'll do anything to win or something like that.
Yeah, he's essentially. I mean, his philosophy is a consequentialist. So essentially, the philosophy boils down to, and this is just a wave tops kind of idea, but it boils down to the results are what really matter. So how you get there doesn't. That's part of why and socialists tend to have that philosophy a lot because it's how they deal with the horrors of socialism. They're like, well, once we get to the socialist utopia, the millions and piles of dead don't matter because then no one else will die because of whatever the failings of capitalism that they're,
because our cult has established its goal.
Except what happens is once they use these evil tactics to gain power, they fear someone else using these tactics to gain power. So they maintain an authoritarian regime, which they were once fighting against. They just become the new authoritarian regime and they get mad when you point it out.
Well, because they know that what they just did yesterday, somebody's going to do to them.
Exactly.
Because they know the same tactics.
Yep.
So, it's a good survival mechanism.
The system overall doesn't work. It's low trust. People don't get thrown into prison for nothing. People use the government to remove their rivals that are just in business. So if someone's got a nicer office than you, and you can call the government and be like, yo, he was saying things that are against the party, and the party comes and picks him up, and next thing you know, you get the job now. I mean, that kind of stuff happened all the time, all over the Eastern Bloc countries in when the Soviet Union was, or when it was communist countries, when they were all satellites of the Soviet Union.
I don't know, man. The reason there's a fighting chance is only because, and I'm not trying to rag on conservatives, but it's only because dissidents from the left have switched sides. Art, culture, and organizational prowess are coming greatly from people who used to be liberals and left who are now fed up and working with conservatives. With all due respect, Ben Shapiro is still a rather stodgy dude, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy in a suit who's very, I don't know, preppy, I guess. The way we would describe it in schools. And I mean that with all due respect. Like he's a proper, clean-cut, well-mannered man. But that's the people like, I don't know, Phil, you're a rock star. You know what people are into, right?
I mean, some.
Yeah, but they like people want some freedom. They want some entertainment. They want some edge. They want some punk rock. And now that, like, what was it, Johnny Rotten?
Yeah, literally, John Lydon is right wing,
and he's like, it's the left that have become insufferable twats.
Yeah, and you're starting to see people in the more edgy kind of genres of music and stuff like that starting to push back. You see, like the guys in the Defiant.
Oh, that's great, the Defiant.
And people were talking about Ronnie Radke and Tommy Vexed, who pushes back against that kind of stuff. I've been pushing back against this kind of stuff forever. And it's falling out of favor. People don't want to be told how they have to interact with everyone they come into contact with. They want to know, they want to be like, look, I'm going to be polite and I'm going to try to be nice and I want to get along with people. But if someone mispronounces a word or says the wrong word or says something that's newly insensitive, they don't want to have to worry about losing their job. They don't want to have to worry about the repercussions. They don't want to have to worry about being debanked. And these are real things now. Obviously, the people that get debanked are the people that really push back against the narrative and stuff. But it's only a certain amount. It's only for so long, because as that type of tactic becomes something that works, it happens more. People will do it more. And if the government if they see that it works, the government will get into the business of it. Social credit scores will come here. They are currently they're in China right now. That is a real threat.
They're here now. It's just being controlled by private entities. Look at PayPal.
Right.
Yeah, to some degree, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a weird situation when people are like, oh, well, we're going to worry about the corporation and things like that. Well, the corporations are driving this. You have PayPal, who is literally doing a social credit score and taking people's money. And then as far as punk rock, well, punk rock is against authority. So who's in authority right now?
Right.
So punk rock is going to be obviously right wing if left wing is in authority.
Left wing, liberal establishment, neocons, etc. Yeah, and it's not even about. This is a funny thing. The left will immediately say, "You're claiming that conservative Christians who are wearing suit are punk rock." No, we're saying that anybody who is truly punk rock, who would say, I don't know, wasn't it Sid Vicious who wore a swastika T-shirt? Yeah, that would not fly with neolibs, with the liberal and left establishment. They'd lose their minds if someone dared do that. Punk rock was intending to offend you. You like, and so now these hall monitor types, deeply offended by naughty words, they're the antithesis of punk rock. That's like the funniest thing. It's like, I'll give a shout out to Hassan Piker, who is like, it's funny because he is more like, what's the right word for Ben Shapiro, right? What's the word? Nerd? No. I'm talking about a guy who is clean cut, well mannered.
Button up.
Hassan is 10 times more stodgy and buttoned up than Ben Shapiro is. There is this veneer among the left of being edgy, but they're marching around chanting Amazon.com slogans and Walmart slogans and it's just like, we have this, I just absolutely love Hassan calling Ian Crossland a conservative. That just right there shows you that it is a thin veneer of grifting. Bro, any reasonable person, leftists, for instance, they call Ian Moonlord because they know he's a hippy dippy crystal weirdo and he rags on Trump all the time. Who in their right mind would call this guy conservative unless you're a grifter just saying whatever you think you need to say to earn internet points?
Or you're a tribe and you're a cult. Because if you're in a cult, if anybody strays from the cult or tribal narrative, they're gone.
Yeah, but
and it only takes one
even among woke leftists, they call Ian Moonlord. Right? They like these socialists who are very woke are like, yeah, Ian's not a conservative. He's a weirdo. He's a hippie weirdo. They call him Moonlord and they laugh about it. And they like sometimes when he yells at Trump and stuff. Hassan is just, I'm going to say whatever, if you're A, I'm B. I'm just going to say whatever I think people are going to, click on. He is as establishment can be. He's the dude in high school wearing the Letterman jacket, pushing around the nerds.
Hassan's got some serious audience captor. He is terrified of his chat. His chat runs him like mad. If he says something the chat doesn't like, the chat will let him know, and he will quickly evolve what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mugshot has arrived. In fact, that image we saw was real. Wow. It was real. It was a photo of the mugshot, and CNN is reporting this is the Fulton County mugshot of Donald Trump. This photo is history in the making, and I'm sure it will be on a plethora of t-shirts and posters. Mm-hmm. I would, you guys feel free to make this, but I think we'll make one. We'll take that image of Trump. We'll put it on a poster so it looks like the Obama Hope poster, but it'll say revenge instead.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I would like to put one of those posters up and probably just, how can we give them out for free? Can we give posters of Trump that just says revenge?
We could just do a mailing.
You could do a PDF and people could print it themselves at all sizes, right?
And then anyone can just take it. That's a good idea. So I don't know. Do we have anyone from the crew listening? They can just make it. And then we'll just publish it and be like, there you go. Revenge.
Yeah.
I like it.
The mugshot is here. And some people were saying the fourth surrender would be meaningless and it would not matter. Nah, this is it. This is the moment. The other ones were like slow buildup. Mm-hmm. This right now with the mugshot.
Well, this is unpardonable. So this has the teeth.
I mean, New York is unpardonable. State charges, but it wasn't election related.
Right.
This is clearly political for one simple reason. The most famous man in the world does not need a mugshot. Trump can't walk down a street in Peru and not Trump can be in Utqiagvik, how do you pronounce it? In Alaska. And they're going to be like, Trump. Trump could be in the Aleutian Islands on an abandoned military base. And if anyone walks by for any reason, maybe, the only place Trump can go where they need a mugshot, North Sentinel Island. You can't, there you go.
Wouldn't last very long.
They'd be like, it wouldn't last. But that's the only place in the world, except for uncontacted Amazon tribes, I guess. But if Trump went to North Sentinel Island, they'd be like, who are you? Actually, they wouldn't say English. They'd just be like, what is this? It's some crazy guy.
Did you see his truth about that?
No, what did he say?
Oh, God, it was hilarious. He was talking about, he goes, I have to put up a bond because of a flight risk. And he said, well, gee, I wonder, would I possibly be leaving on my plane, my ever unrecognizable plane with a giant branding on it? He goes, no, perhaps I should fly commercial because no one would recognize me there.
Go incognito.
Yeah.
Yes, it was hilarious.
It's dumb.
I mean, this is something Trump proves over and over again, which is that he is the entity in and of himself. He's recognizable and people will flock to wherever he is. The Tucker interview had 100 million views in less than 8 hours.
Yeah, it's at like 2:20 or 30.
It's insane. People want to know what he's doing. There's no way that he would just not be noticed if he tried to sneak out of the country. And also, he's running for president, so he probably doesn't want to leave. He probably wants to be here on purpose. I think the mugshot is just for Democrats to fundraise on.
You don't think it'd be a good idea for him to campaign to people in like somewhere in South America?
I think he can do whatever he wants. I
Does he
just
take
think
his
if you're the
detail with him?
America First president, you want to stay in America.
He's going to take a Secret Service detail with him on his flight out of the. I mean, it's just so ludicrous. Why is there a bond? And why is there a flight risk?
Because
it's so
it
obvious.
intimidates people.
And also,
This isn't all about government intimidation.
why isn't the bond higher? That's
Exactly.
my current one. Like,
It should be $200 million. If
200
it's a
million?
if it was a legit bond,
Yep, I agree.
it would be $200 million or $2 billion because he really is a flight risk and it's a problem. But 200,000,
Imagine-
that's pocket change.
Imagine a mob boss indicted on all these counts, RICO, they would not let him go. Anyone else. And that is not even high crimes. If it's like the mob boss was engaged in a criminal enterprise where they were selling drugs, and they were organizing and doing this and doing that, we believe that he's a major flight risk. We're not going to let him out. They'd be like, yep. And the lawyer would argue, be like, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. He's innocent until proven guilty. And they'd be like, we have a preponderance of evidence. Donald Trump's accused of trying to overthrow the government. You'd think for that, they'd be like, we ain't let this guy anywhere. We're going to cut off his communications. He's dangerous. Nope. They're like, you're free to go, sir. Have a nice day. Because it's political. They want to campaign off his mugshot as much as Trump wants to campaign off his mugshot. The danger is if both sides are using civil conflict for fundraising and generating votes, it only ends in one place. You eventually end up with a politician saying, look, they said, vote for me and I will put them in prison. Trump said it first and then didn't do it. Then they said it and now they're doing it. Trump gets reelected, revenge. He starts doing it. Then they're going to say it's illegitimate. At what point does someone say no? And then there's a clash. I got to tell you, I'm looking at these videos and I'm having scary, eerie feelings. What is the legitimacy of the squad car in front of the jail taking Donald Trump in on these BS fake charges? The police in Georgia, my fear is the actions they have just taken. There's a photo of them like Trump's walking out and they're in front of them and things like that. It makes them look like they are illegitimate and they have no authority. I'm imagining this scenario. A police officer imagine this. There's a cop standing on the side of the street. A homeless man walks up and says, I want you to arrest that woman. And he goes, you got it, boss. And then he goes and does it. And you're watching it happen being like, why are you arresting that woman? That's just some random homeless guy. What we have here is, that's my analogy. I don't understand how they can expect to maintain a view of legitimacy of law enforcement when, one, crime is skyrocketing. People are ransacking Nike stores and malls and grocery stores, and they're not arresting these people. With the COVID lockdowns, they punished regular innocent people, and already conservatives were outraged. There's the videos of the cops stomping on the thin blue line flags. Now you have more than half the country, slightly more, that believe this is political and illegitimate, and they watch a police officer engage in plainly political, illegitimate behavior. The only thing now stopping people from disrespecting the rule of law is a fear of violence. That was a large component of it. But there was often, I would say in this country, there was a fear of a respect of authority and a fear of being shunned by the community. So it wasn't just that the cops could assert force over you. For many people, it was. But for a lot of regular law-abiding citizens, it's the wrong thing to do. We respect the police. The police don't respect you. The police are letting criminals run rampant. The police arrested that poor young man in New York who tried to save people on a train. The police arrested Kyle Rittenhouse. They put him in jail. How could anyone watch what they're doing to a former president and think the police are acting in a legitimate way? When I looked at the live video they had outside the jail, and you got the squad car there, I'm just like, it looks like a clown car to me. I don't feel it anymore. I do not feel it. It feels like these cops are derelict. It feels like they are illegitimate. And that worries me because if I'm seeing this now, and I'm not even the biggest Trump guy, I can't imagine what anyone else is thinking about it.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, you're the history guy here. Does this remind you of anything else?
Not in this country.
No.
I mean,
What
But it
other
reminds you of other countries,
Yeah,
right?
that's now I'm interested. What other countries? Yeah,
well, I mean, you've got Brazil. You know,
the most recently with Lula and
yeah. I mean, Glenn Greenwald talks about it, and then from what I understand, Korea's been doing it. It's common in Eastern Bloc countries, things like that. You know,
But what about historically, when countries fall into revolution, regime change, war, civil war? I mean, a lot of people have said there are similarities between this and the Spanish Civil War. I think I've heard that the most. Mm-hmm. That what's going on here tracks alongside the Spanish Civil War more than anything else.
I haven't followed it, so I'll take your word for it on that.
I don't know.
I have to go look myself. I don't know anything about it.
It just seems bizarre that this would be the route that, we take now. I mean, I was reading CNN today and they were saying this is unprecedented. First time in history something like this has happened. You want to say you think that's a good thing? Like, do you think this is the direction you want to take the country? If you're the party that's in power, is this the precedent you want to set? I mean, theoretically, if the scales sit back, if Trump's elected.
Or novel. How many times have you heard the word? That's novel charges. We've never
coronavirus.
seen novel charges. The RICO Act is novel. Jack Smith is novel, which means we're making the shit up as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Where is any Republican to do the smallest bit? Don't get me wrong. Like federally, we got Jim Jordan saying, I hereby demand with a strongly worded letter, I want to see what you've got in your documents. And it's like, well, she probably crumbled that up and threw it in the trash, blew her nose in it first. Where's the subpoena? At the state level, where are the indictments? Mm-hmm. You've got, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to ask, do any of the strong worded letter is obviously ridiculous, but at the same time, does he have to issue it to give her a chance to turn over the documents before he can get a subpoena? Like, I don't know what the
I'm not
legal
sure because
is.
Questioning her could be part of the investigation, right? I mean, we want to bring you in and talk to you about what's going on because how do we determine what we're charging or what we're actually writing out?
Right.
Get your ass over here. Mm-hmm. We got a problem. Come on up here.
It is crazy that she's not in D.C. answering questions.
Take a look at this from Benny Johnson. He tweeted this earlier. Breaking. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis regularly questioned election results and used her office to push unfounded conspiracies. On the eve of Trump's arrest in Georgia for challenging an election, a deep dive into the prosecutor's history of doing the same thing. Here's one post. He said, Georgia could determine who is our next president. A team of lawyers needs to watch them count every single vote. They can start in Fulton, where we are having water leaks. What ballots are they throwing out? Georgia, let's give an honest accounting, no stunts. He goes on to mention, a deep dive shows that she is a hardened radical activist, not an unbiased attorney. Her page is littered with BLM propaganda. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis blatantly and quite illegally used her office for partisan political activity. Imagine thinking you'll get justice from a person who is a proud Democrat. There you go with the mug in her office.
Her father is a Black Panther.
Really?
You didn't know that? Yes. Her father was literally a Black Panther. So the people who ran around with the Weather Underground, those folks.
For the past 10 years, we've heard people screaming and freaking out about like Nazis and the right and blah, blah, blah. And yet the organizations that were actually mailing bombs around the United States in the 60s and 70s, well, all of their progeny, all of the children of that movement, all of the people that were informed by the thinkers of that movement, those people are in positions of power and in positions of authority in academia, and they're making new radicals.
And they're there still. Bill Ayers is still teaching in Chicago and still writing Obama's book. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
But everything is fine. Don't worry about it. They're not radical at all.
The amount of red washing that has happened to America, to Americans, is ridiculous. And even with like McCarthyism in the 50s and stuff, and still there's been a massive amount of red washing because all the
like pro-communism red washing.
You will just like hiding or downplaying communist influence and communist theory and stuff like that, and talking about communist theory or like leftist theory and stuff like that, but not telling people where it comes from, or making the connection to the thinkers that. So like they'll talk about like, say the influence was this person, right? But they don't tell you that this person's their mentor or whatever was someone like Angela Davis or someone like Herbert Marcuse or whatever, people that are well known as leftist thinkers.
I can't remember his name, but the CIA director.
The current CIA director?
No,
Which one?
a couple back.
The Wolf?
No, the really nasty one. He looked like a bulldog. If you hold up a photograph of him, he looks like a full bulldog. He literally voted for the Communist
Yeah, he
Party.
was a communist. Yeah, that's,
Yes,
I
and I
forget
think
what his name is.
I think he voted for Angela Davis.
Probably. Well, he was a communist. So
Well, one of my favorite examples of this was there was a couple years ago a nonprofit. It wasn't the ADL, but some like research group put out a study on domestic terrorism, and they said, right wing extremism, white supremacy is what's leading the country in domestic terrorism. But they wouldn't release the data that they use. They wouldn't release it so anyone could verify it, and they also excluded any environmental terrorism. So anything like Weather Underground, they didn't count. And so the data that they're working off of is inaccurate, but then they report the headline to freak people out. They want you to be misled on purpose. And I think that's the biggest issue that the average American has, which is that they don't have time to comb through everything. And so they end up relying on the headlines, and the headlines are based on false information.
And Elon Musk said they're going to get rid of headlines on X. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Yep. So I don't know exactly how they do it, but I'm assuming that means when you post a link, it's just going to show the body of text, not the headline.
Yeah.
Because what they tried doing first was, it was like, you didn't read the article. Would you like to read the article first?
Which I liked.
What I love is, I'll give you an example. The Daily Beast ran a fake story claiming that it said Tim Pool was accused of stealing a cat. The real story was random person lies, police confirm lie, we ran headline anyway. And so this is what they do. You make a headline. Twitter, at the time before it was X, put the story in the what's happening page for like 2 weeks. And it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, what? What is this? And then the story at the bottom, it's like, police confirm it's not true. And they're like, but we'll put the headline anyway.
Well, that's my question, because if you're going to do the body of the story, I want it to be paragraph 8, if possible.
Yeah.
Because if you read the articles, usually the articles, the first couple paragraphs line up with the headline, and as you keep reading, the second half of the article disproves the entire first half.
Welcome to modern journalism.
Right, but so which part are you going to actually clip as the preview? Which is a complete nightmare. Are you going to do 3 random sentences, which could be interesting, or what?
Just the opening paragraph, because you won't get full context. It'll just say something like, today Donald Trump had appeared at the Fulton County courthouse and ...
Well, they're such liars. They'll say, shameful, guilty, scumbag president showed up. I mean, they literally are just
trying to
writing
figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the fact checker's trick, the classical move where they'll do something like, Donald Trump will do a backflip off of the White House and land perfectly, and then Snopes will write, did Donald Trump do a backflip perfectly off of the White House onto the lawn, ... on Sunday. And then they'll put false, and then they'll give this big long-winded explanation, and all the way at the bottom say, well, he did do a backflip, it was on Saturday. And so they add context to a story that no one offered, and then claim it was false because of the context they add. I love it. I'll give you another example is Biden falling asleep. You saw that video?
You mean he's bowing his head in solemnity?
Solemnity. Biden falls asleep, and what does everyone say? He's falling asleep. He appears to have fallen asleep. Yeah, for like 10 seconds. And then obviously in the video, he gets back up. I counted it. It's 10 seconds. Then his eyes open, he coughs, and then he looks up. And I said, he looks like he's falling asleep. What did NBC News claim? They claimed that we said he was sleeping outright. They said, no, he's not. We never said that he pulled out a pillow, laid down on the ground, took a nap. Said he was falling asleep. He clearly is. And they're like in the higher resolution video, you can see that he opens his eyes. And it's like, you
got us. We're totally misleading you.
But they lie.
They
claim what we've said was more extreme than what we actually said, and then fact check us. It's just absolutely insane.
Also, I think you tweeted about this, but a lot of people doze off in meetings while sitting still, especially people who travel and work a lot. Like, he didn't nap on the ground. Like, these things happen. And instead, they freaked out and both said, you guys are lying. Also, he was being very respectful. Like, he's just really old and probably should not be living the lifestyle that he's being forced to live, right? Like, that's it. And you guys should accept it. But they can't, because they can't admit anything is wrong with Joe Biden because he's their incumbent and they have to protect him at all costs. Like, they're doing a lot of crazy stuff to Republicans, but progressive left that are controlling the Biden White House are also in a terrible position. They do not have a strong candidate going into 2024. That's why they're so desperate.
Well, they
Yep.
do have a guy who's kind of running around, and we're still trying to figure that out. Why is Gavin Newsom running around the country campaigning without actually campaigning? Isn't it
we
weird?
know where it's going. What did Trump say about Gavin Newsom the other day on the Tucker interview? Like, oh, he's actually really got along with him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, I think it's reasonable to say Biden is somehow removed from the race in one way or another, and then Gavin Newsom steps in. My theory, I don't know if you heard what I was saying about this a few weeks ago. The best way for Democrats to pull it off is for Joe Biden to have a medical episode on stage at a California rally where Newsom is acting as a surrogate. And then Newsom runs out, rolls up his sleeves, and does CPR on Joe Biden, saving his life. Joe Biden then says, the difficulty and the strain has been too much for me, and I can't, blah, blah, blah. But Gavin Newsom has proven he's the man for the nation. He does a press tour where everyone says, you saved the president's life. What is that like? And he's just like, you got to do your duty in this country. That's PR gold. You could not hire someone, pay someone. There's no amount of money that would give you the historic PR. I have to imagine, honestly, too, if that really did go down that way, Joe Biden has some kind of medical, like faints or something, and then there's panic and everyone's screaming. And we've all seen him trip, but so they're primed for it. A more serious thing where grips his chest, and then he stumbles down and falls, and the crowd gasps. Then Gavin Newsom runs out and saves his life. His favorability goes up to 63. His approval rating among Democrats goes up to 99.9. He then says, I never wanted to take the job. This is not my intention or my plan, but I will not let you down, Joe. And Joe's going to be like, thank you.
Except for Kamala's going to be on the side with an axe going, no, I don't think so, unless a Supreme Court justice happens to be removed at the right time. She's not going to go away quietly because she's part of the alternate faction in California.
But I think she does as she's told. And the question actually is, how do you get past Kamala? Because if we're going in order of succession in any normal political circumstance, if Biden is out for any reason, Kamala is next.
No, she's there. I mean, the second he stops, she's there. So he has to say, I'm not running again, but stay alive long enough for Gavin to come in. So what
happens is Biden doesn't leave office. He says, while I'm recovering, I think it's fair to say that I will not seek re-election due to the concerns that people have for my health. But I believe Gavin Newsom is that proven leader, and Kamala will agree. You cannot beat that PR. I don't see any other way they remove Kamala from the equation without looking really weird and clumsy.
Well, to build off your theory, Chief Justice Breyer's is retiring at the end of his term, right? So theoretically, they could say, Kamala, you get to be on the Supreme Court. To your point, this is actually happening.
Help us!
Yeah. And then she'll be like, I don't need to run for president. I'm going to stay in the Supreme Court forever. And then Gavin Newsom is like, great. I will become president, nominate you.
Yep.
Or Joe Biden, I guess, if he's around, depending on when his medical emergency happens. I mean,
Kamala
they really
says,
do have this set up where it could work. All the
saying.
Supreme Court justices get lobbied to stay or not stay, depending on what benefits the rest of the party.
Kamala could say something like, I was here for Joe, and, with everything that's going on, I am overwhelmed. And, or she stays on as VP and says, I think being the vice president and having Gavin step in is fine.
We have a 2-term VP.
Can't see that.
That'd be crazy.
I cannot see that because from what I understand, she and Gavin are not tight. So Supreme Court Justice, I can see them giving her that. I mean, that's life.
But that means he needs a different VP and she has to leave for some reason. But I agree. I mean, I can't think of a scenario in which they can successfully have Biden not run. And if they don't, then Kamala doesn't run. They've got barricades here.
Yeah.
Biden, they have no choice. What are they going to do? If they pull him out, it looks weak and it's uncertainty and people are scared of it. At the very least, they might lose votes. Trump might not gain votes. They might lose votes. If Biden's out, then it's got to be Kamala. If it's not Kamala, people are like, what's happening? How do you have Biden and Kamala not be running at all? And it's Gavin and someone else.
Well, and Biden said explicitly, one of his goals was to have, more diverse people representing the party at the federal level. So to a certain extent, people are expecting to be Kamala for a lot of reasons. She just didn't work out the way they wanted her to. She would never pulled in a popular way. She does not have the charisma to carry off the presidency. But if they can shuffle her off, they can power broker her into the Supreme Court, maybe they'll be able to pull someone up from the bench. I think Gavin Newsom will have challenges all the time because I think the Democratic Party is sort of split on the face that they'd like to see in the White House. But he is the only person on their bench after the 2 current president and vice president.
And he's going to debate. Is he still debating DeSantis? What's up with that?
I think so. I can look.
Which is weird. I mean, think about that for a second,
Very
because
weird.
again, he's not running, but we do have precedent. Remember, I said 1968.
Yep.
Well, what did we have in 1968? An extremely corrupt president who did not have the best health, who stepped out of the race, and then we had a Robert F. Kennedy enter the race and take over. So LBJ and Biden are really similar. There's a lot of parallels there. The corruption, the family money, the TV station.
And how long was Kennedy in before LBJ?
2-3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not a full presidential run. So you get Trump in for a year and then Biden steps in. So there are other similarities in the duration.
Politico is reporting that the Gavin Newsom Ron DeSantis debate is at an impasse because of issues Fox is having. So it was planned for November, but I guess it's maybe not going to happen.
Okay, Gavin, Ron, come on down. We'll turn the camera on and go live.
Culture war. War.
No, but in all seriousness, it'd be cool if we did. But how hard is it for them to turn on a webcam and be like, let's talk?
No, they have to use mainstream media, Tim. Otherwise, you're a fringe right-wing candidate. No one can do that.
That's
Well,
right.
from what I understand, DeSantis isn't going around on podcasts anywhere. So he's finally learning, I guess, now, but he seemed to be allergic to it.
Oh, man, Vivek is hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. He's been going on every podcast he can. He went on Alex Stein's live show and they got asked about 9/11. They're using that against him.
Yeah.
But Vivek's just I'll go on anyone's show. Let's get the word out. I think Vivek understands the balkanization of media spaces.
And Bobby Kennedy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For both of them. I mean,
he said podcasts are going to play a huge role
Yeah.
in this election. Yes, obviously.
I can't remember if it was Vivek or Larry Elder that week that we had both of them on, but one of them was talking about doing the podcast, a podcast style thing, like fireside chat from the Oval Office. It is cool to see these people embrace new media, especially as we can see. I don't know that Fox will ever go completely away entirely, but it doesn't have the power it used to.
Let's talk about this story we got here. The Georgia judge sets October 23rd trial date for Trump co-defendant Kenneth Chesebro. I think that's something y'all should consider. Let me first give you a little context. A Georgia judge on Thursday signed off on a quick turnaround to the start of the trial for Kenneth Chesebro, one of the 18 defendants charged alongside former President Donald Trump in connection with the alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The ruling, scheduling an October 23 start date, came just after Trump's newly appointed attorney said he would move to sever the former president's case from Chesebro or any other defendant who sought an expedited timeline. What are the chances? And I understand some people might say it's not legally possible. I don't care. What are the chances Kenneth Chesebro convicted November? And then they say Donald Trump was charged for the exact same things. And if this guy was convicted, Trump should not be on the ballot either because he's a co-conspirator. We move to 14th Amendment, his name off the ballot.
Yeah, except he's charged, not convicted.
Doesn't matter. Trump shouldn't be charged in the first place. His lawyer shouldn't be charged in the first place. My point is this. Several months ago, if I were to tell you they're going to indict Jenna Ellis for being Trump's lawyer, people would be like, well, they can't. Legal counsel is protected in the Constitution. And then they did. So they'll have their PR excuse.
But I don't know if
Donald
they
Trump
can.
was the mastermind, but can they charge someone's lawyer? Jenna Ellis is accused of counts 1 and 2, literally being part of a criminal conspiracy and solicitation of a violation of oath of office, literally just because she was Trump's lawyer. Other people in the charges were reaching out to people and asking them to do things. Jenna Ellis's counsel, counts 1 and 2. We said this months ago, they can't indict Trump, a former sitting president. Never happened. And then they did. Or a year ago.
Sure.
They're not going to go after his lawyers. They are. I said, next up is media personalities. Now we're hearing James O'Keefe is under investigation, criminal investigation in New York. It's going to keep happening. That's why I'm saying maybe. The legal theory is Trump's not been convicted. But the argument they will make is Trump was the mastermind who ordered Chesebro to do these things for which he's been convicted. That proves it as far as anyone needs to understand that Trump is an insurrectionist.
I don't know that it matters because Eugene B. Debs was a socialist who ran for president multiple times from prison. There's precedent.
Yes, but they'll remove his name from the ballot under the 14th Amendment. Trump can run all he wants, and they'll just say, yeah, that's fine, but your name won't be on the ballot because the 14th Amendment says you're an insurrectionist. You can be a socialist in prison and still run. That we know. But they've already done this to, what's the guy's name in New Mexico? You know what I'm talking about? New Mexico politician got removed from the election because they called him an insurrectionist. They tried using it on Marjorie Taylor Greene and Madison Cawthorn. You want to look? You look at it.
But he's not convicted. What I'm saying is that if he's not convicted, technically, until he's convicted, how do you remove his name from the ballot? He's
Because
still charged. You can't say
removing someone's name from the ballot under the 14th Amendment would be novel.
Well, everything's
And
novel.
So,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
And so the issue is this. What's his name?
It's Coy Griffin.
Coy Griffin.
Coy Griffin. Thank you.
Yeah, Coy Griffin. That's right. They said he was an insurrectionist, so he's ineligible now. Donald Trump is the mastermind of the conspiracy who gave the instructions, right?
Allegedly.
And if this guy is convicted, what does he say in court about what Trump told him to do? And then they can say, this is not about a criminal conviction of Donald Trump. This is about a statement of fact sworn under oath that Donald Trump instructed an individual to assist him in insurrection, thus disqualified as an elected to run for office. His name should be removed from the ballot.
I'm not saying that they might not try that, but that's one of those where you got to get really black-pilled. I hope at some point the Supreme Court's saying, well, he's not convicted yet, dummies. Let's hope that maybe the cover of the Constitution can remain.
They're not, but I'm not talking about the criminal case. I'm saying in this criminal trial of Kenneth Cheseborough, he will be asked, what did Donald Trump tell you? Thus, they will launch a civil suit against Trump outside of any requirements of criminal conviction to say, witness testimony in a criminal case, Trump instructed these people to engage in insurrection, adding on top January 6th statements, people storming the Capitol, all of that. They'll play clips out of context. This will add to, we're not trying to criminally charge him. That's a totally different case. We're saying he waged insurrection, therefore he's ineligible.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I'd say, please get Robert Barnes in here and ask him that, because
but it's not a legal question. It's a political
election
question.
law. Well, it's election law too. I mean,
considering they've indicted Trump's lawyers, I don't think it's a...
Well, ballot access is absolutely election law.
Right, but they could do anything they want because the law is not written by the Lord. Law is written by men and is ignored all the time.
Yeah.
The fact that they've arrested Trump's lawyers sets the standard. They can do anything they want. They will make up whatever they want. So my question is just, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just, this is the line where they say, well, we've violated the Constitution. We've created new novel ways of prosecuting people, but this one time we stop.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that this fails. I mean, it is dark. Obviously, they're arresting counsel, and I find it completely disturbing. And I hope there's a backlash. And that's why I'm pissed off about a lazy-ass Congress that's not pulling her up there. Yeah. Because the feds need to be coming down, and they need to be saying, what the hell's going on? The state managed to get it together. They managed to get two houses in Georgia itself that is landing an investigation of her. We've got this problem. Why isn't Jack Smith under investigation? Why are we being so damn lazy on one side? Well, maybe because we really kind of like the idea that Trump's getting put away. Maybe we kind of want another candidate to come up there. Maybe we like,
there is only one side, though.
Well, you get
these
the
neocons, exactly.
Sure.
So they're sitting there going like, no, wait, don't, Democrats. And we're going, yeah, you tell them. And then they go to the same parties and hook up with the same escorts and drink the same wine. And
right, they hate populism. They hate the people.
Yes. Yep. Plain and simple.
I mean, even if they don't hate the people, they're at the very least not interested in serving the people and interested in maintaining their own power and staying in Washington, D.C. and, eating the good food and living in the nice places and going to the nice places and stuff. So, and they're indifferent to what is actually legal, what the law says.
These are the people that when you go to the halls of Congress and knock on the door and you walk in, they're all smiling and saying, how can we help you? And you're like, I just wanted to, leave a letter for the congressman. They'll be like, thank you so much. And then when they walk out, they'll go, ooh, and they start wiping themselves off. And the congressman pops out and goes, oh, it was in here. Oh. They don't like you. These people don't like you. There's like 12 members of Congress, maybe 20 that like you. Overwhelmingly, they don't. All you are is a number. They're having meetings with their consultants saying, look, I just want to get more votes. What do I need? And they're like, people like red. Have you considered wearing red? You'll get more votes that way. They don't go to someone and say, you, constituent, you're a farmer. What should I wear, a red tie or a blue tie? So I don't think it matters. I'm wondering why the prices are going up for my fuel. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to wear the red tie. That's what they are. They're not actually, this is why I think we were talking to, Return to Freedom Caucus guy. I can't remember which one. He said that they had the votes to overturn Obamacare, and Republican leadership came to him and said, but don't do it because we're going to use this to campaign. Yep. They do not care about you. It's got to stop, man. And I don't know that MAGA is it, but certainly whatever it is populism is bringing is politicians who are actually talking with constituents. And maybe this is it. Maybe it's social media for all of its negatives has some positives in that as we form our own communities where we care about issues, the representatives that we elect share those values in much the same way because they're part of the same spheres.
Mm-hmm.
No, you had a sponsor, right? You were just talking about what, Public Square?
Yeah.
Well, that's power.
Public Square?
What's happening with Bud Light is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I really do believe Andrew Breitbart was correct when he said politics is downstream of culture.
Yep.
And if the culture divide, you've got a show about culture, that's going to push the politics because they can't afford to keep going against it. If the culture turns, they have to go with it, ultimately.
Right.
So
Agreed.
You've got to change the culture.
I completely agree. That's everything. That's why, most of the stuff we do here, we'll talk politics, but most of our investments are not political. I see no point. I've donated to political candidates a bunch of times, but I don't see a real point in doing that. I'll put it this way. Tucker Carlson, where is he most effective? Doing a show or being president? What do you think?
Sure.
Absolutely. The cultural force of him coming out and talking to people and inspiring people, way more important than signing an executive order.
Oliver Anthony, your band.
Absolutely.
He's most effective when he has a show and Trump is the president because then Trump just listens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's that too. That's a cultural pipeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump's on Air Force One just watching Tucker Carlson. That's what he did.
He's got someone taking notes for him while he shows down.
Yeah, I wish we get
McDonald's.
some behind the scene footage of them hanging out in Maine while they filmed that interview.
No, they were in Bedminster.
Oh, they were?
I'm pretty sure Tucker went to New Jersey. Yeah, I don't think Trump's going to travel to,
I just know that's where his studio is, or that's where he was.
Here's another thing to consider. Maybe the real reason or a reason Trump didn't go to the debates, there's no way he can go to Milwaukee debate and then fly to Atlanta the next day, turn himself in.
I heard it was pre-recorded though.
No, I'm saying if he flew to Milwaukee for a live debate.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then he left at midnight and flew back, and then he has to fly back the next day. That's brutal.
But he was saying that he wasn't really interested in doing the debates for way before Georgia indicted him.
He could have turned himself in before or whatever.
Yeah, well, and he has been saying, I don't see the point of this. I'm clearly in the lead. All of you guys are just going to, try and attack me. It only benefited the RNC if Trump won because more people tune in to watch. And Fox.
Yeah, you saw that they wouldn't let Don Jr. in and Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy. And Larry Elder, which, by the way, I'm super annoyed about that.
I'm really annoyed because you had Tim Scott, seems like a great guy, but come on. If you could have Tim Scott or Larry Elder in a debate.
Now, hold on there a minute. I would not mind. Tim Scott's actually polling really well. Mm-hmm. I think he's doing better than a lot. Chris Christie?
Yeah. I'm
just saying any of them, but I'm just saying if you're
Hutchinson.
Well, Hutchinson, come on. Oh, speaking of that,
Larry Elder is leaps and bounds above
all of them.
Especially if the Democrats are going to try and field Newsom, which he directly challenged Newsom. Larry Elder should be on the debate stage because he is interesting. He's representing California. I think he's well spoken. He's got a lot of power, but also if Gavin Newsom is the future of the Democratic Party because we don't think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are really going to be able to make it to the next term. Larry Elder is exactly who the RNC should want on the stage. I don't understand why that's not obvious.
Not only that, the way two of the candidates got in there, Hutchinson and Bergen both bought the donations with gift cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting. So you have Larry Elder who actually did get the donations.
Who earned them, yes.
The old-fashioned way, going on the Breakfast Club, having to fight with other
Coming
people.
on Timcast IRL.
Several times, yeah. Big fans.
Versus these people who are literally saying, hey, if you donate $1, you get a $20 gift card. Two candidates out there, and nobody's talking about it?
People are talking about it, but they're
dirty,
just
I guess. It's the only way. The Republicans, they love getting pushed around by people playing dirty.
Money.
Yeah.
It seems crazy, and they're like, oh, the poll, this is the issue. Like, I don't understand what the Republican Party's issue with Larry Elder is, and I think that they are hurting themselves. It's, I have maintained for a long time that debates are boring. They're ineffective. Like, everyone gets 45 seconds to see, we raise our hands. Like, it's ridiculous. But if we're gonna have them, at least have people on stage who, first off, people are donating to, but also who are advocating for interesting ideas. Like, that's one of the reasons Vivek is performing so well. He has all of these interesting approaches. I don't agree with everything on his platform, but he is a breath of fresh air. Larry Elder is, he's been talking about politics for a long time. He's got really interesting positions on immigration and on school choice. I don't understand.
And family.
Right. Why would the party not want him there, especially when he played by your rules?
No, yeah, he's very conservative. I mean, Larry Elder is a mainline, family-oriented, old-school conservative. He and Ben Shapiro walked the same path in many, many ways. So it's mind-blowing why they don't want him in there.
Man.
No, it's not.
Justice for Larry Elder, you know what I mean?
Oh, well.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he would have been amazing on that debate stage.
Yes. God,
yeah.
They are playing dirty. Can I just say, I loathe the RNC. Ronna McDaniel, come on. We could have had Harmeet Dillon.
I hate her.
Harmeet Dillon is active, engages with people. She communicates, she fights. She would have been way better for RNC chair.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. They like losing, but I don't think they're actually losing. I think it's Washington Generals. Oh, whoops. They're supposed to lose. Yep. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just sad because I think we should want to hear about ways to help the country, and the people who have the innovation, who have the drive to sort of push the envelope to really think about new things are not being given this mainstream platform. Of course, I believe there are alternative ways to get your message out there, but it is annoying to see people shut out from this party that is saying, well, we all have to pledge to beat Biden, but they are excluding people who are potentially offering ways to do that.
I have an idea why, maybe. I just thought of it, literally. Larry Elder preaches independence, like people to meritocracy, people to stand up for themselves and to achieve what they're seeking. And if people are achieving things for themselves, running their own business, doing their own thing, they're not dependent anymore on the government. So people like Larry Elder are truly a threat to the Uniparty, whichever side it's on, because he's preaching independence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this story. This one's really interesting. It's political, but not related to the debates or anything. Justice Department sues SpaceX for discriminating against asylees and refugees in hiring. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Elon Musk hires too many American citizens. For this, he is being sued. The DOJ filed a lawsuit
federal
today.
Government.
Yep.
Department of
It
Justice.
said from September 2018 to May 2022, SpaceX routinely discouraged asylees and refugees from applying and refused to hire or consider them because of their citizenship status in violation of the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA. In job postings and public statements over the several years, SpaceX wrongly claimed that under federal regulations known as export control laws, SpaceX could hire only U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents, sometimes referred to as green card holders. Export control laws impose no such hiring restrictions. This is absolutely insane.
SpaceX is one of the biggest contractors with the U.S. government. I mean, it's literally NASA. It's essentially the reason that Americans can get into space. It's this again. I think this is political. I think this is the federal government going after Elon Musk because they don't like the things that he's doing in other areas. I don't think that it has anything to do with SpaceX behavior.
You think they're mad about the block button?
Yeah,
You bring that back right now.
That's probably what it
Maybe
is. Yeah.
Twitter files too. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's the long and short of it, as far as I'm concerned.
He's cutting them off from their information pipeline.
Or is it X-Files?
X-Files now, yeah. Think about how easy it would have been if you were in the intelligence agencies to get information because you didn't need a warrant. They just handed it over.
Mm-hmm.
Now Elon is dragging his feet or outright saying no and cutting off their access. So they're like, let's get revenge. But also consider this. Think about the political ramifications here. Elon Musk didn't hire enough non-citizens for his company in the United States.
That's another thing that blows my mind. They're talking about non-citizens. There was a time where I thought it was illegal to hire people that are non-citizens. I mean, obviously.
Right. That's what I thought.
You know?
Like what? So I can just hire anybody I want now? We can get all our video editing done in Peru?
Apparently.
Save some money. Chinese video editors. So they're saying, please contact their civil rights division if you applied for a job at SpaceX and were rejected. You were discouraged from applying because you're not a U.S. citizen. That's what?
No, I love that. Civil rights. By the way, civil is part of what word? Wait, civilian.
That's right.
I'm very confused.
No,
Man.
it seems ridiculous. I mean, I think the Biden administration obviously doesn't care about the American worker. I think if he did, he would bring manufacturing jobs back from other countries. And I think this guise of being like, well, we're anti-discrimination is actually another form of let's make it more difficult for American workers to get a job. And that's kind of disgusting for this apparently working man, blue collar, or whatever he claims to be president.
How big of a deal do you think immigration is going to be on the election? Do you think it's going to be
It's not going to be big enough. It never is.
Right. And, Ann Coulter was saying it's the key issue, and that's the issue that helped Trump win in 2016. But I'm not convinced. I talk to regular people, and they never tell me that's a concern they have.
What's a swing state issue? So
Right, border
will
state issue.
Arizona be in play? I don't know. Texas is going to pretty much probably stay red, but Texas is purpling over time. Florida is not changing because they had a problem. Immigration worked against them. They get the wrong countries because remember they love immigration, but they don't like Cubans. Okay, as an example, because Cubans are not the right kind of immigration for them.
They vote the wrong way.
Exactly.
Somebody made a good point. Leor Engelstein in Super Chat said, alternate headline, DOJ sues SpaceX for only hiring U.S. citizens to work on potentially classified military technology.
Yeah, I thought that there would be ITAR stuff that makes sense to me. International trade and arms stuff this is all rocket technology. This stuff is all about, all of it's like got some kind of classification, whether it be secret, top secret or whatever. It's not information the feds want spread around. I figured they would have it under the ITAR stuff.
You think they care? They think they want to be secretive.
I mean, you buy night vision stuff. You're not supposed to take that out of the U.S. You can't sell it to people that aren't U.S. citizens. There's lasers and stuff there's all kinds of infrared stuff, and that's just like small arms stuff that night vision is cool, but you're not gonna get a nuclear weapon into space with them.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's confusing. You were in military, right?
No, I mean not. Seriously, I was in the military when I was a kid, in the 90s. I didn't do anything. There was a whole war that I had nothing to do with, so I don't like to talk about doing anything because I did nothing. So.
Well, you and I both. Okay, I was in the 90s too, but we had ITAR, and then I was working for a defense contractor. I don't know how many courses I went with ITAR. You cannot release the information to anybody. This is just a defense contractor, and it could be toilet paper. They're weird about it.
I think Elon is extremely disruptive
Yep.
to a lot of the narrative machine, a lot of the establishment, and we're probably going to see a lot of moves that make no sense being made against him. This one right here makes very little sense.
It reminds me of what they're doing to Trump, right?
Right.
They are desperate to make something stick. They don't like people who challenge their narrative, and so anything that they can say, this South African native is discriminating against immigrants at his company. They just want him to be the bad guy, and they'll do whatever they can to get the headlines right.
I mean, and they'll keep doing this. I mean, X is paying people. That's huge. People are going to start using that platform for a lot of things. It's going to cause a rapid shift in our culture in that people are engagement farming and things like that. But for the most part, when we talk about how do you wake people up to what's going on politically, in the past couple of weeks, we've been saying, tell your friends and family to sign up for Twitter, aka X, because you're not going to be able to convince them Joe Biden did bad thing. But you can convince them to sign up because then they can share stuff with you. So when you're talking to your liberal aunt or uncle, and they say something like, yeah, well, Trump did this, they'll be like, oh, I didn't hear that. You'd be like, you didn't hear it? How did you not hear it? I'd be like, why don't you sign up on X? You can send it to me. Here, send it to me on X. Are you on X? You're not? Well, sign up so you can send me a message. Then they're going to be on. Then they'll start getting access to a wide array of information. I'm not saying to make them conservative or anything like that. It'll just make them go, oh, yeah, I did see that video. And then you can at least, you don't got to argue with them that it did or didn't happen.
Well, that's a good approach.
For that reason, yeah, I think Elon is in the crosshairs, but that is an understatement. But I don't know what else they can do. Let's see. What
Musk can do?
No, what they can do to Musk. I mean, we'll see. Look, I think all of the stuff they're doing in terms of indictments, the targeting of all of Trump's allies and his lawyers, this It's desperation. It's pure panic.
Yeah, looks like it.
I think it is for sure. I mean, that's why I am convinced that although a lot of stuff is happening to Republicans, you have to keep looking at the Democratic Party and saying you guys are going on the offensive because you actually don't want to be on the defensive because you would fail, right? You don't have a strong bench. You don't have strong candidates. Joe Biden's record is not good. And so they're actually going into this election, I feel like, and I'm not an expert, in a very weak position. And so unless they can get Trump indicted, unless they can take out this super performing candidate who is likely to win the nominee, they are sort of stuck. They need this to happen. Otherwise, what are they going to do?
Yeah. And if they can bloody him up enough and stall him enough, I mean, a lot of it is just maybe they're thinking eventually he'll give up. I don't think he will.
Run out of money?
Bud Light, Target, Sound of Freedom, Richmond, north of Richmond, cultural victories across the board. And this matters. When they say that 12th grade men are skewing conservative, consider that in the 2024 election. 12th grade boys are going to be old enough to vote. Many of them already are, and they will vote for Trump. There's a reason why they become conservative. Hey, maybe they're watching too much Andrew Tate. I think this is why they, for real though, the reason why they banned him so quickly and rapidly across the board. Before, like, he's gaining tons and tons of followers, but he wasn't cracking into like the political zeitgeist.
No, definitely not.
But he was building influence, and all of a sudden they just ban him everywhere. Yeah, because he's getting a bunch of young dudes
Yep.
to like start listening, and they're not going to vote liberal, Democrat, whatever. Can't allow that. Jordan Peterson too.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, not Jordan Peterson has to be re-educated.
Yeah.
That's something, man. I think that I really wish that Americans would pay a little more attention to what's going on in Canada, because
Where?
In the hat,
America's
hat.
Canada.
So, yeah.
It's really hard. Americans have a hard time paying attention to what's going on in Canada, personally because Canada seems irrelevant to them, but also Canada is always trying to be like, but America's the crazy place. I think they like to direct attention away from themselves.
We declared our independence from Canada after inventing corn syrup, because we had to get all our maple syrup from Canada. And breakfast, what are we supposed to do? And Canada had that strangled. Then once we invented high fructose corn syrup, we could make fake syrup and put maple flavor in it. And that devastated the Canadian economy, but it freed the Americans to have breakfast.
And Vermont agreed because they were like, fine, we will be the only place you can get real maple syrup. We'll have a monopoly on it in the country.
Oh, it was big Vermont maple that spearheaded the campaign.
They were
to
like,
get a monopoly
we're in.
on maple. Now maple's super expensive,
It is.
I have
really
made all of that up. None of that's true. I'm kidding. I hope people realize that.
No, it's 100% true. Tim is a historical corn syrup, maple syrup conflict expert.
I will say we got some of Cousin T's pancake mix and stuff sent to us. I'm really excited. We're waiting for Terrence to come on down, and
Terrence is hilarious.
we're gonna make some for breakfast. So are you familiar with Terrence Williams and the thing he did with Cousin T's? So after Aunt Jemima got pulled the image from all of these syrup bottles and boxes, he made his own pancake mix. It's actually legit. Like, the ingredients are legit. It's not just like basic nothing. It's a lot better than I think than Aunt Jemima's. And he put his face on it. And it's absolutely hilarious. I am deeply offended that they removed Aunt Jemima from my pancake syrup and my pancake mix, because I liked Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just like the thing at the store with the little breakfast. I'm like, oh, look at that. And then they start removing anybody who's not white from all of these products. It's just the most racist and insane thing I've ever seen. But anyway, Terrence, he made his own. And we got sent his breakfast syrup and his pure maple syrup. And immediately, everyone here being as snooty and as scared of seed oils as they are, they were like, whoa, corn syrup, what is this? And I'm like, to be fair, Cousin T's lower cost breakfast syrup is just corn syrup. It's not high fructose corn syrup. And regular corn syrup is actually not that bad. It's the high fructose stuff that's really, really bad. But he's not a crazy guy. He has pure maple syrup too. It's just expensive to get. So we have some of his real maple syrup and some of his corn syrup. But once he comes down, we're going to have him on the show. We're going to film in the morning as he makes pancakes for us and shows us how it's done. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for that. Anyway, let's read some super chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member, and we're going to have a members only uncensored show coming up for you in just about a half an hour. And more importantly, for all of you who didn't already, you can purchase your tickets to the Miami event. October 6th, They are at timcast.com in the menu bar, Timcast X Miami. You click that, and we're going to have Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., and Matt Gaetz. With Luke and I, we'll be hosting the event. Beforehand, I don't want to say too much about the full details just yet until we can confirm everything. But we're really, really excited Public Square is sponsoring it because we are just absolutely huge fans. And I'll say this to the guys over at Public Square. We are lucky to have you guys as sponsors because we would shout you out either way. So the fact that you're helping us put on the show is just icing on the cake. When we talk about winning the culture war and everything we have to do, the guys over at Public Square have created the easiest way to win the culture war. You download the app, Public Square, and you can look on a map of all the businesses that share your values so you can avoid bad businesses that are going to use your money for bad things and support businesses that agree with you and your values. And that's how we win. Parallel economy. So I'm super, super excited and honored to have them involved. We got a bunch of cool plans too, giving out swag bags and things like that. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited for Miami. And I think, October is probably a good time to be down in Miami. It won't be too hot. It'll be cooling off a little bit. All right, let's read some more. I'm Not Your Buddy Guy says collectivists across the West seem to be okay with sending their political opponents to jail or worse, their removal from existence. We must realize and then it just cuts off. Oh, there it is. Fight is now. And whether I like it or not, the U.S., should it fall, there is nowhere you can escape to in the globe. The last stand is now. I think it's important to clarify every time what we're seeing with these indictments, with going after Elon, fear. It's afraid. Bud Light probably sent them. It terrified them. These woke organizations, they're losing their grip on the institutions. I mean, it's the craziest thing to me that skateboarding went woke. I'm like, you mean to tell me the guys who post videos to this day of them punching security guards, committing crimes, and breaking the law are terrified of saying naughty words? Well, I don't want to lose my sponsors. I can't tell you how many pros I've met who are like, well, we'll skate, we'll film, but I can't speak up because I'll lose my sponsors. And I'm like, why would you lose your sponsors? That's like the weirdest thing. It doesn't matter. We got to keep our heads down. And I'm like, okay, dude. But, whatever. I do think it's turning around. A lot of big name skateboard pros are now just being like, dude, I don't even care anymore. I'm sick of the weird nonsense that's going on. But let's read some more. Jonathan E. says, Rip Dave Smith 2024. Also, I found your video on the Istal woman. I've uploaded it and DM'd the link to you and Brett on Discord. Oh, cool. Right on, man. Thank you. So what, Dave Smith's not running? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he's not running.
Yep,
he formally anti-announced?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
We were all sitting here like, Dave, announce already. Aw, for real?
Yeah, it's his wife. His wife was he's got a new baby, and his wife is like, we can't. The baby has had heart problems, so there's been surgeries. So it's not just.
It's not the right time for his family.
It's not a small thing. He's got real serious.
Well, then who's gonna run?
I don't know.
Libertarian candidate.
I don't know. I've heard
Luke.
rumors, but
Where's Luke at? Luke, run for president. He can't. He's Polish.
Yeah, he wasn't born here, right?
No, so he can't. I think he said that was on the show. He's like, I can. He's like, I was born in Poland. I'm like, oh,
Austin
okay.
Peterson's still
Great
out there. He
excuse
could do it again.
Austin Peterson?
Yeah, he ran in 2016.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
He
we
beat
like
him
him.
and McAfee.
yeah, he's not running either. He hasn't been sniffing around at all.
Oh, come on. We got who? There's
Phil,
nobody.
who's running? Tell us.
I can't tell you. Well, I don't even know that. I don't know that they're running. I've only heard rumors, so I can't say.
Phil knows for sure.
Let me think.
Everyone DM to Phil right now and have Phil tell
Are you seriously saying that?
If you
Are you
DM
serious? Don't DM me.
If you DM
knock it off. Like I have stop. I have stuff to do this weekend. Stop. Are you kidding me? Don't no.
He's just being coy. He'll tell you. If you DM him on Twitter.
I used to have this friend named Hannah Claire, and now
admit it, we're friends.
No.
I said used to.
Now we're best friends.
Moments. It was moments. It was like today was the day I was like, maybe she's got
No,
crashing.
Phil and I are friends. Don't DM him. He likes to keep secrets. It's fine.
All right. Nova says, Ian talks about forgiveness for Democrats, but can't do it for Trump. Trump said 15 days to slow the spread, but reversed quickly. Ian can't move on. Obama murdered children and Ian calls for forgiveness. His bias is disgusting. I completely agree. And I think that having him on the show to say that allows us to articulate exactly what you explained that otherwise people would not hear. Because we'd all sit here and be like, we shouldn't forgive Obama. You're correct. Next subject. Ian then says, no, Obama did good. And we're like, bro, Ian, he bombed kids. That it brings out, it's like a little salt on your steak. It brings out the flavor, maybe a little lava salt.
You need
your
different
Wagyu beef.
perspectives for sure, and Ian does that.
Yeah, and Ian is there's he's just a regular dude, right?
Except
He's-
for the
he-
hippies, like
No,
the
but I
graphene
mean,
stuff.
like
Super
he's
regular.
not a hyper partisan leftist or right wing guy.
He's not super online either. Like a lot of this, most of
Exactly.
the stuff that he's familiar with when it comes to the culture war stuff, it's not because he's actively looking for that stuff in his spare time or whatever. He hears it here. You know?
True. Yeah.
Let's grab some more. Kick the Ball says Trump is old. If he dies for any reason while in custody, he will be viewed as the assassination of the GOP's primary political candidate for president. Where do we go from there? Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've arrested him already, dude. 4 times?
Crazy.
Trump's old, but he seems much healthier than
yeah.
sweet Biden.
Oh yeah.
By the Fireside says Trump gets arrested and imprisoned the entire 2024 election, wins in a landslide, and is released the morning of his inauguration, emerges totally jacked, covered in prison tats, and ready to exact his vengeance on the deep state. Dude, I'm imagining it like kind of like Fast and the Furious. He comes out with a jean vest, arms all
that'd be
ripped
sick.
and just ripped, and he's like, someone made the revenge poster.
Yeah, Jessica just made the revenge poster.
You want to tweet it or something? Or
Sure.
just post it and we'll be like, print it out, use it, revenge. And the funny thing about that mugshot is it's kind of menacing. Like he's looking down at you with the, what's it called? The Kubrick stare or whatever?
That's what it looks like.
Is that what the Kubrick stare?
Like if they lose, that might give them nightmares.
Revenge. Revenge. I got to tweet it out. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to tweet that out for everybody. Let me, sorry guys. This is more
extremely-
important.
Yeah.
It would be extremely.
Where was it?
interesting
Where was
to
it
see.
posted? Is it?
She just sent it to me. I'll send it to you.
Oh yeah. Send it to me. Oh, there it is. I got it. Oh wait, is there a better one than that one?
She's saying that there's competition from our company.
Trump's on Twitter.
Is he?
What?
Man, he controls the media, that guy.
What? Hold on there.
He's like, I got arrested, so I've returned to X.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would be hilarious.
Oh, Donald Trump just tweeted.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Donald Trump tweeted. We got to get this, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Breaking news. And it's, oh my God. Yo, we
What did
got
he
it.
say? Read it.
Wow.
Donald
That's
Trump,
sick.
mugshot, August 24th, 2023, election interference, never surrender, DonaldJTrump.com.
I want to put that on a t-shirt.
It just went up a couple minutes ago.
Heads are exploding.
Let's go.
That's sick. I'm gonna like that right now.
That's crazy.
Okay, I got to quote tweet this with the picture that says revenge.
I just sent you.
You sent it to me?
Yeah.
Because the one you showed me looked really good.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like a bunch of different versions.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, Tim doesn't like Chris Bertman's version of it. He likes Jessica's version of it.
I can't tell you. Did you message it to me? Where?
It's taking a little while to upload
Throwing shade.
on Slack.
I know you got to get. Oh, there it is.
Yo, this
Let's
is
see.
I know how to use Twitter.
Okay, this one's
crazy
pretty
on
good.
this.
Let me just download this image right here.
Donald Trump has tweeted.
That's a big image.
God, I hope he pins it.
Elon Musk just finished.
I really want to put this. I
There
really
it
want to
is.
put this picture on a t-shirt. This is the funniest thing because it's also slightly boomer.
Yo.
You know,
Yeah.
This on a t-shirt would be
This is
sick.
the best
Just
thing.
this, that would be so hard.
just that on like a white t-shirt.
Dude,
I would buy that.
Trump
100%.
is back.
Wow.
Also,
That's
he
huge.
controls the media. Like he knew if he got arrested, we'd all be watching, and then he got back. Like this is all orchestrated. He knew as soon as he got on the plane to go down there, he was like, "And tonight I get on Twitter."
Yeah, he definitely like rehearsed this look. That look is menacing.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's nice. I like this.
Yo, holy crap! I think this is going to be the most viewed tweet in history.
Yeah.
X
Oh,
post. Sorry, X post. It's
Well,
already
that's
got.
definitely gonna.
It's been up for 4 minutes. It got 15,000 reposts, 5,000 quotes.
10,000 likes since the time we've been shown.
Ryan Krasenstein, within a minute or two, says, "Welcome back. Signed, your worst tweet mayor." He's back. Oh man. All right. Well,
You know,
there it is.
Elon's dancing in the streets.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go back to the old super chats.
I wonder if Elon probably knows already. Someone's like, "Yo, Elon."
Oh, yeah.
What if Trump told him, he's like, "Okay, I go in tonight, my mugshot comes out, I come back on X," and Elon is like, "Okay, sounds great."
And tomorrow, Elon has bought truth.
Oh my god.
We will grab some more. Smothers says, "Stop pretending the Supreme Court will let Trump be put in jail." Yo, they could have just put him in jail. They arrested him. The Supreme Court didn't do anything to stop it. The question is, if he's convicted, do they stop him from going to prison? Trump is facing felonies, which is prison, not jail. Difference. Jail is typically under a year, and prison is a year or more.
Yep.
Do you want the revenge picture to go on Teespring? So
I mean,
people get t-shirts of it?
I guess we could sell a T-shirt.
I can do it in 5 minutes, but you could talk about it later. I don't know.
I say, yeah, go for it. I just kind of want people to take the image and use it and just do whatever they want with it. Like everyone can just make their own. But I guess we might as well sell shirts.
Yeah.
I gotta say, his return to Twitter or X with this particular picture, with this whole thing, the last time that he tweeted was 3 years ago, and it was, "I'm not going to the inauguration," and then the very next tweet on his page is his effing mugshot.
There's nobody
Hard.
better. Nobody better.
Hard.
Nobody better. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah, plus with like the lawyers he just hired too. Dude, that's hard.
Amazing. All right, let's grab some more here.
It really was a historic night. Do you remember that time Trump returned to Twitter?
Yeah.
Which is now called X.
We have the Louis XIII we can crack open.
Oh my gosh.
Steve McGee says 6'3", 215 pounds. What an absolute unit. Ian weigh-in, 145 is victim weight. Yeah. There's no way he weighs that. I mean, they had to have weighed him.
I don't know.
They didn't weigh him. They just took his word for it.
Yeah, probably.
It's like all fake.
Dude, I've seen Trump. I'm 6'2", and believe me, I'm well north of 215 pounds.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Trump's tall. He's tall. I just 215. He's got to be 250, right?
They're lying.
It's just that his suits have a lot of volume and his hair has a lot of volume, so you guys think he's
That's
bigger
it.
than he is.
Well, there is we don't have the G Prime 85 comic, but it's the one where it's Trump. He's really, really small and short, and they're like, "Sir, are you ready for the debate?" And then he's like, "Bigly." And then they lift up this very tiny 3 foot tall Trump and put him into a mech suit that has arms and goes and steam comes out. You know, that's possible. Here we go. David Walker says, "I'm a Chilean that views U.S. politics and it affects us eventually. I watched the full Trump interview. I am not the only one." Yeah, so what they're saying about the Trump interview on X is that the total views are actually closer to like, I think, what did they say, 16 million actual views? Mm-hmm. And the tweet views are different from the video views. But this is the thing that I think,
They're impressions, right?
Well, they're tweet views. Impressions are another way of saying it, but I think impressions implies someone didn't see it, right? If you are browsing a website and there's an ad on the left side, that's an impression, an ad impression. That's technically the same thing as a tweet you're scrolling past, but a tweet you're scrolling past is in your field of view that you're actively choosing to move past. So slight difference. I think tweet view is more appropriate. What it means is the view count on the tweet shows you how many people saw that tweet, not the video. The video was 16 or 17. It was, I was off a bit. I said I thought it was going to be maybe like 10 or 20%. And so I was like maybe 20 to 30 million. In fact, it was a little bit less than 20 million actual people who watched the full
He could release that. I mean, Elon loves stats.
Well, it's on the app.
He could click. They could track the clicks. How many people actually clicked on the video? What's the CTR on that?
You can watch the interview without clicking on it.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing too. So I just think the left is trying to undermine it, and the right is trying to tout its importance. But the numbers are the numbers, man. We will grab some more super chats. What do we got? Sparky says Bongino thinks Trump shouldn't have posted bail, but the ability to communicate from inside a jail is limited, making working on a case difficult.
Not if you turn the whole jail into your house.
Yeah,
with security with the Secret Service. Yeah,
right. That was the point that Bongino made. The Secret Service could have just taken it over. Okay, Eric Blackwood says when Trump gets elected, Tim should be his press secretary. Never. That'll never happen. I would never get involved in politics. Only in like the periphery, perhaps like interviewing somebody or something like that, like we've already done. But I think anybody who wants to be involved in politics is unwell. All of them. And yes, that includes Trump. The man's got something going on up there.
Isn't it true that if you're into personality tests, the Myers-Briggs personality test says that the personality type that Hillary Clinton is like specifically congregated in DC. Like there's a certain type of personality that ends up wanting to be in politics.
Demons?
I don't know if that's what's classified as. I think it was like INTJ or something, but
that's the demon one, right?
Apparently, Trump is speaking on Spaces just now on X.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what the chat's saying. I've seen it a couple times.
Wait. Hold on. How do I pull this up?
I don't know. Chat, let us know.
I will pull it up on my phone if I have to. Can you pull it? You can't pull up spaces on.
Yeah.
Type of personnel.
Hold on.
I want to hear myself talk.
Trump is Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what I see in the chat.
I just want to print for America.
Where?
I want you to love me as you loved me before.
What is it?
Oh, that's a parody.
This is not Jerome Powell, so he's a parody.
This is fake.
Oh, are you watching this right now?
This is the actual space, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is where the audio is coming from.
We just have to make sure that we stop sending.
That's not.
Oh, that's not him.
That's a
No.
comedian. Come on.
We're gonna freak out. Jessica says it looks like she can put up the PDF on Teespring for free of the revenge image.
So like, wait, what do you mean? Like you can buy the shirt or just download the image?
Yeah, she's working on it right now. We can talk about it in between the show,
We
but
could sell the
people
shirt.
should keep an eye on the Teespring because we'll have some stuff there, I guess.
I say we sell the shirt, but like open source the rights that anyone can put on any shirt they want. I don't care. Cool. I think we put it up in our merch store so that you can easily get access to it and buy it if you want. But I would really love it if people just used it. It's not the most original idea. It was like we were all just joking about it. It exists. It's very, low effort. I just find it really funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Revenge. It would just be so cool to like be walking in a city and see like 4 of them on like the side of like a light post, or like the transformer box or something, like on the, post no bills, and then there's like revenge.
Yeah.
Like what they were doing with Obama, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
Revenge. That's going to freak them out. They're going to be like, oh, Trump's back.
Make them into stickers and like post them on college campuses everywhere.
Oh God. Please.
That'd be so funny.
No, that would be a triggering event. They would go, which I need a safe space. Could you imagine that in a college campus? That would draw more hate than it's okay to be white.
Yeah, seriously. On my college campus, someone in a street level dorm room had a picture of Trump in their window and used to have to walk past it to get to one of the big parking garages. And I always thought it was so funny.
Noah Sanders says, just got my ticket for the Miami show. So excited for the event. Just wondering, are there any VIP tickets that might include a meet and greet? I only saw general admission tickets, but would gladly upgrade if it's available. I can't confirm anything just yet because I still have to talk to everyone about the plans. But I think elite members of Timcast.com are going to have special access to something or other. There's limitations to it, obviously, because we can't just be like, oh, look, if you're an elite member, you can just come and do whatever you want, come hang out. But I think there is a plan. I don't want to tell you to go become an elite member right now because I don't know for sure. But if anything does happen, it'll be elite members. Elite membership is $100 a month or more. And you get access to the elite members Discord where there's a lot of cultural stuff going on. And basically more plugged in with all the crew here and the projects we're working on and special access, trials, demos, stuff like that. But what we want to do is we want to make sure, we're trying to get this place open. We're trying to do a club, a skate shop, a coffee shop, all these things. And elite membership is supposed to be like a core community thing where everyone gets to be a bit more involved in everything. That's the purpose of the support level. I'll just leave it at that. Give me a couple days to confirm with what the plans are going to be when we're down in Miami. And there may be some limitations, but I think there may be an elite member meetup. Let me just confirm and get back to you guys. I don't want you to spend money yet until we know for sure, but I think it's likely. I just have to confirm with the organizers, our crew, the people who are setting everything up, to know how long do we have the venue for, what are our plans. So yeah, we'll figure it out. Evelyn Grace Arellano says, my husband and I love all of Tim's impressions. We are really missing Mrs. Pelosi's appearances. You should do one. She's just not here. She's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, she's hanging out in Congress, but not the speaker.
Right. When she was speaker, she was in the news all the time.
She talks like this. Donald Trump is the worst president, and he should be impeached.
That's my Nancy Pelosi. It's intentionally bad and meant to insult her. So, there you go. Yeah. All right. Sparky says the left are a bunch of Karens. That's mean to people named Karen. I've never liked that. It's like I met a woman named Karen, and I was like, I feel so bad. Like,
No kidding.
She's called Karen. No, that's a mean word. All right, we'll grab some more. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, Gary Busey still has the best mugshot. That was a crazy mugshot.
That was a good one,
Yeah. Isa says, Tim, make it say rage instead of revenge. That way it stays a 4-letter word. Okay. Why don't we do both? Well, I don't know. It's got to be one. If we make two,
People will grab it and they'll change it anyway, probably.
yeah. Rage is good though, but I feel like revenge is better. Rage, I get. In a lot of ways, it makes sense because you had hope. Now you have rage, but I want Trump to get revenge. You know, and the menacing look he has is perfect.
Yep, it's perfect.
Revenge.
I seriously wonder if they were like flying down and he's like, do you think I should smile? Do you think I should do this face? Like, I want to know if they were like having a conversation about it. Because this tweet they were like prepared to have.
Yep.
Ugh. It's the same thing like all the political consultants Tim was talking about earlier who were like, should I wear a blue tie? Should I wear a red tie? What does this convey?
With the red. Always go with the red.
Power tie.
Yep.
Except for depending on what event you're doing. Like more solemn events, they're like, we'll wear blue so you look very calm and peaceful. Yeah. You don't want to seem aggressive. And,
You think Trump is going to... Oh, so there's a message. I'm going to read the message for you guys because that was part of the tweet. He says, a personal note from President Donald J. Trump. Today, at the notoriously violent jail in Fulton County, Georgia, I was arrested despite having committed no crime. The American people know what's going on. What has taken place is a travesty of justice and election interference. The left wants to intimidate you out of voting for a political outsider who puts the American people first. But today I walked into the lion's den with one simple message on behalf of our entire movement. I will never surrender our mission to save America. If you are doing poorly due to the sinister people in control of our country right now, don't even think about donating. But if you can, please make a contribution to evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House and save America during this dark chapter in American's history. Thank you and God bless. And he's asking for money. Yep.
That makes sense.
And that's about it. There's a bunch of asking for money. I've never given any money to Trump. I'm considering it now, though, considering the charges. I'll probably end up giving money to Trump. I've never donated to Trump before.
Just don't give it to the Republican Party.
No, I can't. That's why when I hear them say, like, yeah, but if you donate to Trump, he's going to use it for his legal defense. And I'm like, bro, I don't care what he does with the money. If I gave Trump $20, I thought he was doing a good job, and he bought an ice cream sundae with it, I'd be like, that's cool.
Fine.
Like, I ain't complaining about it. Let him do his thing. You know what I mean? Where are we at? KM says, finally, Eric Hunley, the Goat Ranchers version of Christopher Langan, is on Timcast. Trump mugshot versus Che Guevara t-shirt, or Trump and Breitbart war. I absolutely love the Breitbart war clip.
Yeah.
It's just so like his face. War. It's just so good. War. Oh, man. It's crazy. Where are we at? Jason Hutchinson says, I'm disappointed. Trump's mugshot could have been that cheesy grin with 2 thumbs up. That would have been great too. But I'm kind of glad we got the menacing look because we can, make the revenge poster.
Yeah,
and I think it does add solemnity to what's going on.
Solemnity.
It's important that we are always very solemn.
Yeah. He looks pissed that he got arrested in general.
Yeah.
Yo, he's going to make so much money off this.
Yep.
This is what he was waiting for with his tweet, I bet. Like everyone's like, he's got to come back. He's got to come back. He's like, I'm going to come back when I'm going to make money.
Yeah.
That one acts, everyone saying he's back, and it links to if you can give me money, give me money.
I wonder where his ad cut's going to be from Elon. Does he get profit sharing? How many impressions do you think he's going to have on that? I mean, serious.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
I mean, let's be real. Trump would probably make $1 million a month. Mm-hmm. And that's
he
not...
could fund his campaign from X.
That would be great.
Well, to be fair, he's going to need $1 billion for his campaign. But $1 million a month ain't nothing.
That's a good start.
And all he has to do is shitpost.
Yes. Think about that.
I mean, I got paid $4,400, and that's basically all I do. So it's like, I don't know, if you post nonsense and... No, that's not fair. Like, I post some like legit things that get a lot of retweets.
Well, imagine if he posted his earnings, too. That would just make people bonkers.
Hey, man, there's an opportunity. I like the idea that people were sharing clips from the show and then getting views on it. Because it's free marketing for us. Yep. And I'm kind of torn because I don't know if like what the ramifications would be if I was like, yeah, take clips from the show, because then we don't know where they end up. Yeah. But I'll just say for the time being, we reserve all rights. That being said, when people are like, I've clipped the show and ended up making money because people are watching the video, I'm like, that's good. Yeah. Free marketing for us. We don't got to pay for it and you're advertising us. Okay, congratulations. Keep the money. Otherwise, what? I got to pay you the $100 to make you get the views for it. You just get the views for it. You keep the money. Yeah. Works for me. Let's see what we got. Cap303 says, you think the Trump team hasn't worked this out? They probably told him to mean mug the camera to go with the slogan that they had ready, already printing it. Mean mug the camera.
The problem I have with that idea is like that implies that Donald Trump listens to people.
Right.
No, I think he was sitting there being like, what do you guys think I should do? I think I'm going to go with this one. And they're like, yeah.
He might ask people. But he's already made up his mind.
Yeah, true.
Like so many executives in the world.
I mean,
Gitch says, poor Ben Shapiro. He's been chugging the copiolite desperately, saying all the Republican candidates did really well except for Vivek during the debates.
What?
Is that true? Is Ben really saying that? Because I got to tell you, like, it's objective. Democrats, Republicans, moderates, independents, everybody, the data that the New York Times put out showed Vivek was polarizing in that he gained a lot of new supporters, but also gained a lot of detractors. He gained more support than he gained detractors, but he polarized. And I think DeSantis, according to their New York Times, gained a little bit and his unfavorability dropped a little bit. So I wonder if DeSantis's play was to kind of like let someone else blast off a little bit and then neutralize the view of you to a certain degree. Either way, that's kind of what he did.
Well, Jordan Peterson had a criticism of Vivek, and I think he's right, that Vivek could have gone a little easier. Like when he said all these people are paid off, he could have specified people, which Trump would do. And he's right. I mean, eventually he's got to work with them at some point if he's trying to move forward. And that is a bit of a youthful, impetuous response. But overall, he got the attention and he did take the arrows and he fought his way back.
Yeah. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, and head over to timcast.com and buy your tickets to the Miami event, now available and open to the public. We gave members the head start, but now anybody can pick them up. We expect them to be sold out probably by tomorrow. The event we did in Austin sold out, I think, in like a day. And this event, let's just be real, we got Patrick Bet-David, Matt Gaetz, and Don Jr., they're the stars. It's an honor and a privilege that they would join us on stage for this event. Me and Luke Rutkowski will be your host for the night, but I have to imagine this one's going to sell out quick. And we're trying to do really, really, really awesome stuff for everybody in the crowd. We want to give a bunch of free stuff away. Shout out to Public Square. But become a member, click join us. We're going to have a members only uncensored show coming up for you in just a few minutes. And then we'll take calls from you, the members. You can submit questions and we do about 4 or 5 every night. So become a member. It's really fun on the Uncensored show. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. Follow me on X at Timcast and Instagram. And Eric, you want to shout anything out?
America's Untold Stories. Please check it out. If you like historical things, you want to learn about LBJ and how bad that dude is, we have a trilogy on him of him and his women. And did he kill JFK?
Right on.
That's awesome. Well, it's been super fun to be here with all of you on this historic night when Trump returned to X. I'm Hannah Claire Brimlow. I'm a writer for Timcast.com. You should go follow at Timcast News on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find us on the website, Timcast.com. You click on the read tab. You can see work from me, Chris Bertman, Adrian Norman, Cassandra McDonald, occasionally Chris Carr, some other people. It's an awesome team to work with. I'm grateful to be a part of it. If you want to follow me personally, I'm on Instagram at hannahclaire.b and on Twitter at HCBrimlow. Thank you so much.
I am Phil That Remains on X. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. You can follow the band on Apple Music, on Amazon Music, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Pandora, on all, the internet. So.
And I am Serge.com. I'm excited for the after show. Today was crazy, and I'm definitely getting one of those t-shirts because that is going to go so hard. I hope people get mad about that.
I'm like, I think I have the link right here.
Yeah, our revenge t-shirt, I think it's coming up on our Teespring any second, as soon as Teespring updates.
Yeah, I'm going to buy that as soon as I can.
I want this Trump tweet on a plain white t-shirt. I think that's
seriously.
hilarious. At Jessica.
I'll tweet this out in a second. I'll tell you all to become members at timcast.com so we can see you in the members only show. Then I'll tweet it out. Thanks for hanging out.
Cheers.